The Green Bay Packers still very much in the hunt in the NFC Central Division. Tampa Bay has lost to New Orleans today. Minnesota, with their win over Detroit, now has 3 wins. And Green Bay at 3-5 obviously can move up if they can beat the Raiders today. And hi, everybody. I'm Brad Nessler along with Dan Jiggetts. Welcome to Southern California, where it is hot today. Lindy Infante still thinks his team's in the playoff hunt. We asked him if he's been preaching that. He says, I've been at the pulpit every day this week.
He's been delivering the message. He said, hey, look, there are a lot of 3-5 teams right now in the NFC. One of them is going to go to the playoffs. Why not us? He said there are key things, though, that they have to do. Number one, they have to keep the ball in Sterling Sharp's hands. He has to stay busy. 2, they want to rush for over 100 yards. And 3, control the football passing-wise.
Even though Green Bay's not having the type of year they had a year ago, they're still only a game off the pace that they had in '89, and they beat the 49ers this week last year and went on to win 5 straight. They're hoping to do the same against the Raiders. The Raiders, meanwhile, in the AFC West, Kansas City is still playing late in that game against Seattle. If they hold on to win, the Raiders can ill afford a loss here today.
Well, the Raiders are back to doing the things the way they used to do them, though. They're kind of lining up. They're saying, hey, look, we're going to run the ball over here. We're going to throw it deep. You know what we're going to do. Now you have to beat us. But the key is Art Shell going back to that traditional Raider way.
Jeff Jager has it teed up and set to kick away to Charles Wilson. Back deep for the Packers. 86 degrees at game time. It's a warm one. The Packers have worked out indoors much of the week, trying to simulate the same type of heat. I don't think they could have done it anywhere in Green Bay. It's a warm one out here this afternoon.
Yeah, but it's a dry heat, Brad. That's the good news.
Jager's kick. And Wilson, it'll be taken by the upman Workman, and he is swarmed under immediately inside the 20-yard line. So Don Majkowski, not the kind of numbers he had in '89, but he has put back-to-back excellent performances together and almost pulled out a win over the world champion 49ers last week. Up front for the Packers, in front of Majkowski, Weingrad, Ard, Campen, Euchre, Mandarich, and Ed West is the tight end. We talked about Sterling Sharp. He's teamed with Perry Kemp. In the backfield is Woodside and Haddix.
The real key today for the Packers is how do they meet the challenge of the rush of the Raider defense with those 2 offensive tackles on that offensive line.
From the 18-yard line, Packers first down and their first offensive play of the afternoon. A little bit of a hole inside. Haddix gets out across the 20-yard line against a Raider defense that is the Raider defense of old, or very close to it. Howie Long, Bob Golick, Scott Davis, and Greg Townsend. That's an excellent front 4. Jerry Robinson, the veteran, having a great year. Ricky Ellison, who came over from the 49ers, and Tom Benson, the linebackers. And the secondary, McDaniel, Washington, Harden, and the hitman, Eddie Anderson. Second down is 7. Green Bay. They show a 3 wide receiver set, and West, the tight end, in motion. Hit as he throws is Majkowski, and it's incomplete, intended for Sterling Sharp.
When we talked to Don Majkowski the other day, he said, you know, one of the things I want to do is if I can get some kind of time, a couple of seconds there just to set up and get comfortable, then I'm going to be okay. We said earlier in the game that Green Bay has to get the ball in the hands of Sterling Sharp. You see the nice tight coverage there by Washington. Watch him reach in right there and just slap the ball away. He's on him like sweat. 3rd and long.
Sterling Sharp, many feel maybe the second best receiver in football. And I think most people would agree Jerry Rice is number 1. Majkowski works from the gun. Here comes the rush. Steps up and got rid of it. Incomplete. And the pressure already coming from the Raider defense. Herman Fontenot, the intended receiver, but Howie Long and company close to Majkowski.
Right. What this defense does to the Raiders is they get up in your face on your receivers. Man to man, they're going to bump you and try to slow you up coming off the line, and they got tremendous pressure upfield. It's a very penetrating defense. Even on the run plays, you'll see them come across the line of scrimmage and get a lot of pressure on the quarterback.
So nothing doing for the Packer offense, and Bracken will have to kick it away. And a Heisman Trophy winner named Tim Brown awaits back inside his own 40. Brown should have a chance at this one. From the 33. Got about 10 yards on the return, and the Raiders will be in excellent shape field position-wise after an 11-yard return of a 47-yard punt. Charles Wilson made the stop on the special teams. Jay Schrader, who has settled in and had an excellent year. There's his numbers to this point. Last year he shared time with Steve Berline. This year the job is his. Behind Wilkerson, Wisniewski, Mospar, Montoya, Wright, and Ethan Horton, the tight end. The backfield and wide receiver, Steve Smith at fullback, Marcus Allen at tail, Willie Gault and Mervin Fernandez, the wideouts for Schrader. Los Angeles first down at its own 44-yard line. Schrader might want it all on the first play. And going deep. Almost intercepted, and a flag goes down. Jerry Holmes on Willie Gault.
And with a call, maybe is Willie reaching back up inside. It looked like Jerry Holmes had pretty good position on the play. One of the things that's helped Jay Schrader so far this season, Brad, is the protection that he's got from his offensive line. I asked him the other day, I said, do you have time to take a manicure back? He says, yeah, and probably get a permanent set as well. Now, downfield, the question here is, did Willie Gault try to reach back in and get in the way of Jerry Holmes?
Interference, number 44 on the defense, first down.
What happened was Jerry was pushing Willie down with that outside arm. And that's how come he got the call made on him.
Had the pass not been underthrown, two things could have happened. Gault would have had a touchdown, or Schrader would have overthrown him. As it is, the underthrow helps the interference call, and it's first and goal at the 8-yard line for the Raiders. Smith and Allen, and a dual set behind Schrader. This is Smith, the fullback, for the 5. Defensively, Bob Nelson and Tim Harris are there for the Packers. Nelson, I just mentioned on the nose. Matt Brock and Brown, the defensive ends in the 34. Good set of linebackers. Scott Stephen, Noble, Holland, and Tim Harris, an all-pro a year ago. And the secondary, Lee and Holmes on the corners, Murphy and Cecil with the safeties.
The linebackers and the two-gappers.
Harris can take up about 3 gaps all by himself. Second and goal at the Green Bay 5. Marcus Allen this time. Inside, touchdown. The long pass interference call sets up the Raiders close, and Marcus Allen does the rest. Shares time in that backfield with Bo Jackson, but when he's in there, he can still get the job done. Jeff Gossett to hold, Jeff Jaeger to kick. Extra point up and good. And just 2 minutes into the ball game, the Raiders on top 7-0.
One of the things that's really helped the Raiders this year is the blocking of the fullback, Steve Smith. Watch him just pound the ball up, just pound the area up in there for Marcus Allen. Right there, you see number 35 over on the right side of your screen. Now, watch Marcus Allen find a little crease on the backside. He's getting excellent blocking from his offensive line, and I think that's one of the things we talked about earlier, how the Raiders have gone back to just lining up, doing things very simple, lining up and blowing you off the football.
68th career rushing touchdown, is 85th overall in the silver and black. Marcus Allen, a former Heisman Trophy winner out of USC. Schrader didn't have to do much that series, Dan. Just lay one out for Gault and let Jerry Holmes pick up the interference. 7-0. The Raiders on top of Green Bay. 2 minutes into the game.
Let's take an end zone look at that touchdown, Brad. This will probably show you that block of Steve Smith a little bit better. Here's Smith right here. Now let's watch the blocking up in here as they come in and focus in, and then there's a break back of Marcus Allen, number 32. Now he's going to bend the ball back, but the key is right there where Smith throws his block right in there. Marcus says, okay, now I'm going to squeeze it back just a little bit. Gets nice blocking from the backside also.
And again, the play that set it up, a 48-yard pass interference call against the Green Bay defense. Jaeger to kick. Deep kick to Wilson. 2 yards in, and he'll bring it out. Trying to get to the corner, and if he does, he's got room. Nice run back by the rookie, who they are trying to get in the Green Bay lineup because of the speed he just showed there. A 35-yard kickoff return.
And the thing I liked about the way he finished the runoff, you saw him getting near the sideline. He didn't just try to trickle out there. He gave somebody a shot when he came down there.
Out of bounds right here, back here.
There's a scoring drive. Took less than a minute, and Marcus Allen, the man that capped it off.
It's interesting. The Raiders come out, put it up on top right away, seeing if you're loose. They want to see if you did your stretching before the game.
Look what happened there. Kansas City had the ball with less than a minute to go, and Seattle came back and won it. So that drops the Chiefs another game off the pace. Raiders won't find that out till later, you can bet. Mikowski on first down. Got it to Sterling Sharp. First down and then some, as he's knocked out of bounds at the 46-yard line by Terry McDaniel.
Tom Benson was working underneath against Sterling Sharp, and I'm sure if Mikowski can get that kind of matchup all day, he'll take it.
Benson, the linebacker, with speed, but nobody's going to stay with Sterling Sharp if you're a linebacker. New Orleans throttled Tampa Bay today, and Minnesota wins their third and their second in a row.
Phoenix just got spanked by Buffalo.
And Miami continues to lead the way along with Buffalo in that AFC East. So the Packers with their best field position of the day. First down at their own 46. Harris in motion. Flags go down as Woodside, the tailback, got back near the line of scrimmage, and that's it. Jerry Robinson in on the tackle. Let's see what the penalty's about. Red Cashin, our referee.
Watch the end of this play. Now Jackie Harris is going to come in there. Number 8, he just got smoked on that play.
First down.
Scott Davis is the man that was offside.
I'm sure Jackie Harris is wondering who else was offside the way he got stung on that at the point of attack. Scott Davis played at the University of Illinois. His hair is about as long as Rapunzel's.
I think he's probably got the longest hair in the league. With the penalty, it's 1st and 5. Green Bay at the Raider 49-yard line. 3 wideout set here for Mikowski, but he'll keep it on the ground. And out near the 45 is Michael Haddix. So again, a big game. Seattle and Kansas City having bearing on the Raiders. Let's find out more from Greg Gumbel.
Well, Brad, you saw the Kansas City loss to Seattle. Here's how it happened. Derek Thomas just misses his 8th sack of the game. No time showing on the clock. Dave Craig to Paul Scansey, 26 yards. The extra point was the difference. Seattle over the Chiefs, 17-16. Brad?
All right, Greg, how do you think Derek Thomas feels after the day he had to come up short to Seattle? Wow, what a finish. First down to the 40-yard line. And it's Michael Haddix in his 8th year out of Mississippi State. So Green Bay, good-looking drive is what they had to have after 3 and out on their first series.
Yeah, and something just happened on that play. I saw Billy Ard stay with his block because he was getting a real big push from the Raider defensive line. He just stayed with the block, took his man all the way across Scott Davis and just dumped him in the backfield. If you're going to be successful against the Raiders, because they penetrate so much, you just got to hook up on your man and take him out of the picture.
The Packers started this drive at their own 35. They've worked it to a first down at the Raider 40. Quick snap, Mikowski with flags down, in trouble, and he goes down. It'll be the first sack of the day. Scott Davis was the first one there. Then Townsend cleaned up. And let's see, another marker down. It's going to be a motion call against the Packers. I would assume that one will be declined because it's a loss of about a yard on the play.
Illegal motion, number 67 on the offense. That penalty is declined. It'll be 2nd down.
Billy Ard jumped early on the left side.
I would too if I had Greg Townsend over there to deal with along with Scott Davis. Now Greg Townsend, 93, is right in the middle of your screen. Now they're going to try to run a little hesitation up in there and then push the thing in there, and you see right now Davis gets in, flushes Don Mikowski out, and then Townsend comes around and makes the sack.
Packers have given up more sacks than anybody in football. That's number 32 on the season, and the 24th time that it's been Mikowski the victim. 2nd down 12. Draw play inside. Haddix, a nice run, and he's going to be, I believe, in first down territory. He will. They'll spot it near the 28. That'll be good enough for a first down to pick up a 13.
It makes a lot of sense to run the draw play up in there because you figure if you're getting that big push, that's the only way you can relieve a little bit of that pressure from the rush that you're seeing from the defensive line.
That'll make them a little more hesitant about coming full blast, at least for the next couple of plays.
Somebody's going to have to sit back and spy. If you get them man-to-man and they're turning their backs and not paying attention to what the running backs are doing, then you have a pretty good situation.
Mikowski will settle in with his troops. And a first down at the 28-yard line. Daryl Thompson in now, the rookie out of Minnesota, is a single setback. He gets the call, and a nice gain inside near the 24-yard line. Greg Townsend in on the stop. The Packers, of course, were 10-6 to finish last year, but as we said, they're not too far off in the win-loss column, but some of the other things have really come down.
Well, we said that Lindy Infante felt that they had to rush the ball for over 100 yards on average to be successful. Right now they're at 88, and quite naturally they need more points. That's one of the easy ways to win, score some points.
The rookie who just carried that time, Daryl Thompson, is one of the guys they're hanging their hat on to be the rushing game of the future for the Packers. Thompson inside to the 22, where it'll be 3rd down and almost 4. Bob Golick and Ricky Ellison combine on the stop.
It was interesting in talking to the Raider personnel. They said that one of the things that bothers them about the Packers is they don't see them enough to really get a fix on them. Al Davis told us before the games, I wish we knew more about these guys because we just don't see them enough to really get a handle on what they like to do and what kind of players they have.
4 wide receivers set. We'll probably see Mikowski in the gun here as Query and Clarence Weathers join Perry Kemp and Sterling Sharp. 3rd down along 4 for Mikowski. Has time and got it complete. Looks like it'll be a 1st down. Herman Fontenot out of the backfield. That is his specialty. And it looks like he got it by maybe a half yard. Torin Doran in on the stop defensively, the nickelback for the Raiders, and they'll move the sticks. 1st down, Green Bay.
And this is the kind of situation Green Bay wanted to find themselves in offensively, driving the ball down the field, using up the clock, and that way you keep the Raider offense off the field.
You said it, 5 minutes already. 7th play of the drive coming up. 7:20 to go 1st quarter. The Raiders 7, the Packers nothing. Off the Packers down there in the Raiders red zone. 1st and 10. Draw play again. Haddix. Nice gain off the right side near the 12-yard line.
And did you see that block by Ed West, the tight end, 86? He just stayed with his man. If you stay with a guy on a draw play, you just follow him along. Sooner or later, you're going to get your pancake. You're going to pour a little syrup on it as well. And Big O Ed just stayed with his block and finally dumped his man down there about 5 yards downfield. Watch him over here on the left side of your screen. He's a tight end working against Greg Townsend. You see him hook up right now. Townsend's going to reach out, and when you know when your guy's reaching out, that's when you can dump him on the ground.
That was a beauty. 2nd down and 4 for the Packers. Sterling Sharp and Keith Woodside to the bottom of your screen. This time it'll be a loss on the play. Jerry Robinson in his 12th year out of UCLA, and he can still get it done.
He was saying in a newspaper article how at the end of last season he thought that he might have been finished. He thought that he wasn't going to be back to play with the Raiders, and then all of a sudden he gets back in this year, has a nice training camp, and he comes back ready. And he's a player out there now for Al Davis. And you know that when you get the experience out there with the younger guys as well, then you pull in all of that Raider tradition and what it's like to be out there, know that situation, and make the stop.
Started his career with the Eagles and was on the Eagles team that lost to the Raiders in the Super Bowl. 3rd and long. 8 to go out of the shotgun. 3 wideouts to the near side. Raiders think about a blitz. Mikowski in trouble. Got away from one, but not the second man. Davis with a sack. Well, there goes the touchdown opportunity in that drive for the Packers. They're going to have to settle for the field goal attempt.
The Raiders will try to force the play in. They're going to try to bottle it up outside and force the action back up inside, and that flushes Don Mikowski out of the position that he wants to be in his pocket. And then you get the sack.
And it's not a chip shot exactly for Chris Jackie now either with a sack. It'll be a 38-yard attempt. Jackie's kick is good. So the Packers have an impressive drive, but the sack forces them to go for the 3-pointer, and Jackie connects. 7-3, the Raiders out in front.
Brad, what you're seeing along that Packer offensive line is the offensive tackles, Alan Vongrad and Tony Mandrich, are getting a lot of pressure upfield. And if you're setting up short, one of the things you should do as a tackle is make sure you cut off the angle, because the Raiders aren't running too many games up front. They're just putting a lot of upfield pressure on them.
Raiders lead 7-3 at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. 5:12 to go first quarter. Brad Nessler and Dan Jiggets with you here in sunny Southern California. 86 degrees here at game time.
He asked, now watch over here on the right side. See, that's where a little bit of that pressure is coming from. Outside, they want to force the play up in here. That takes Mikowski up in the pocket, and then you can allow the defensive tackles and linebackers to make the sacks. So you see Scott Davis, 70, in the middle of your screen. He's getting double teamed, but he has the opportunity to come off, chase Mikowski down, and get the sack, all because he couldn't sit back in the pocket and be comfortable.
56-yard drive for the Packers. There's Tony Mandarich, the starting right tackle for the Packers in his second year. Highly publicized, of course, after he came out of Michigan State as the number 2 overall pick.
That happens. Just have some patience, find the hole and go, just like you did the last time. Okay? Now you've got to be careful when we go 36 and 37.
Jackie to kick away. Ron Brown and Jamie Holland are deep. Holland takes this one 3 yards deep. And he's in trouble and goes down at the 7-yard line. Tony Bennett, rookie linebacker, down there to make the stop on the special teams, along with Jackie Harris, a backup tight end. We have an offside call, though, on Green Bay, so that will negate great kick coverage.
And those are the kinds of things that Lindy Infante is looking around and going, why us? Because you got them nailed down, and you have the Raiders nailed down.
Kickers, offside, 5 yards, we'll re-kick.
Those are the little things the Packers didn't do wrong a year ago.
You know, when we talked to Lindy, he said, you know, we're just plays away from being a really good football team. And those are the kinds of plays that either help you or really slam the door on you.
Last year, the Packers went 10-6, and in the tiebreaker system, lost the opportunity to go in the playoffs. Had the playoff system been as it will be this year, the Packers would have been in. Art Shell, who is unbeaten here at the Coliseum since taking over the Raiders from Mike Shanahan. So the Green Bay kicking team will have to do it all again. The Packers went 56 yards in 12 plays, by the way. The elapsed time of the drive was 7:48. But the Raiders with a couple of sacks already, and one of them proved costly to Green Bay trying to tie this game up. 7-3 Raiders. Ron Brown and Holland deep. And again, Jackie would probably like to keep it out of the hands of Ron Brown, who already has 5 kickoff returns for touchdowns in his NFL career. It'll be Holland again at the 11. Room on the sideline for Holland. He might go. This will be 89 yards if he beats the last man. Not quite. Yards for Jamie Holland. Leroy Butler, the rookie defensive back, saved the touchdown.
Returns many times are just timing. Watch, there's a nice little block up here on the right side of your screen. It's going to take place, and that really springs Holland. And now, with speed, you find a little crease in there, and you saw Butler right there, 36. Knew he was beat. He made the turn, and he's the guy that finally ends up catching Jamie Holland downfield. Jamie knows he's going to get slow walked on this play, but he just tries to get as much out of it as he can and try to kick those feet up and get down to the end zone.
Who's Jackie kick to next time? I told him to keep it away from Ron Brown, and Holland takes it 86 yards.
Kick it out of bounds, let him take it on the 35.
First and goal, Raiders. Just outside the Green Bay 2. Marcus Allen, he's got another one. Touchdown, Los Angeles. His 6th touchdown of the year, his 2nd of the day. Your basic 2-yard scoring drive.
And Marcus likes those. Those are the easy ones, you know, little plunges. You get to be about 9 or 10 years in the league, you know, you'll take the plunge.
The Raiders haven't needed many offensive snaps today for what is a 13-3 lead as the extra point is blocked. So Jaeger has one stuffed, and the Packers salvage something out of what just happened to them.
Now watch this play in here. This is here's a touchdown from the end zone level. Now watch the push that offensive line gets up front. You want to clear about 3 or 4 yards. They just simply blow everybody off, get a little gap in the back, and Marcus Allen has always been just sensational at reading the backside of a play and breaking it back. You remember that touchdown that he had against the Redskins in the Super Bowl years ago? Same kind of situation. He's got great field vision, finds a hole and just tucks it in there.
We talked about the Packer mistakes. They've had a 48-yard interference call that set the Raiders up for 1 touchdown. They had a penalty on their first kickoff right there, remember. It would have been first down for the Raiders at their own 7-yard line. As it is, the re-kick, Holland goes 86 yards, and then the 2-yard plunge by Marcus Allen, and it's 13-3. Let's get an update on the Bears right now and go to New York. Greg Gumbel. Greg? We'll try to get another update for you on the Falcons and the Bears. We'll get back to that right now here at the Coliseum. The Raiders 13-3, and we're still in the first quarter with 4:41 to go.
Vince Workman,
Charles Wilson and Vince Workman back deep. Another nice kick. And Wilson from 4 yards in will bring it back out. He's got a lot of speed. Flags are down as Wilson's going to have another nice return, but it might be an illegal block on the Packers. He gets it all the way back out to the 35. That'll be good for about 39 yards, but they might bring it all back. Elvis Patterson made the stop finally, and the Raiders are saying it's holding Green Bay, which it is.
Those guys are even getting good at calling penalties, huh?
Holding during the run back, number 56. It'll be first down at 10.
So again, costly penalty against the Packers.
Here's another look at the Jamie Holland return. And one of the things I wanted you to look for is look for Ron Brown, number 24. Watch his block. It really springs Jamie Holland. You see him right there in the corner of your screen. That's the key block. Now, you said, Brad, who are they going to kick it to? Well, you certainly want to kick it to Ron Brown. He's a world-class sprinter as well. Art Shell told us one of the prerequisites for being on this team, if you're in the specialty positions, is speed. And you see Jamie Holland has speed just as much as anybody else.
Raider team's got speed to burn. We'll talk about that as we go. A lot of world-class sprinters on this club. Mikowski has barely got the handoff to Smith, and Smith makes a nice run out of it. Got about 6, maybe 7 yards. Let's get an update on the Falcons and the Bears, and we go to New York and Greg Gumbel. Greg?
All right, Brad, we'll try this with audio this time. Chris Miller's pass picked off by Vesty Jackson. That's the 4th Bears interception of the day, the 20th of the year. 45 yards in the touchdown, and with 17 seconds left to play now, the Bears have this one wrapped up against Atlanta. Brad?
All right, the Bears and the Falcons did a lot of talking this week in the newspapers, didn't they?
I wonder how many picks Lemuel Stinson got.
He and Andre Rison and Deion Sanders had most of the chat going on all week in the newspapers. Haddix with a big hole up the middle, and he has run well here early. He's out to the 38 and a first down, a pickup of 13. And Haddix still down.
As they picked Michael Haddix up off the ground. One of the things that the Packers were concerned about was last time Don Mikowski was out here, the smog was so heavy that he felt that it really drained his energy. And just looking at the sky today, the last couple of days, it's been very clear. Michael Haddix coming through the hole. Now watch him duck his head here as he comes up and approaches the tackler. And that's why you want to keep your neck up. If you're a young player playing the game of football, you keep your neck up and always look the block in or the tackle in or whatever, because if your head goes down, you can really snap the back of your neck.
And Eddie Anderson, the hit man, is the guy that made the stop. And Art Shell says he reminds him of the guy named Tatum who played here and played so well. Raiders, everybody up close, ready to bump and run on the top of your screen as Mikowski's in trouble. And down he goes again. 3rd sack already of Don Mikowski.
See, Don's going to have that problem all day because he's going to look like he's surfing back there, because every time you try to set up in that pocket, somebody's going to be going at your legs and you're going to be moving and grooving back there trying to get away from the rush. And you're never going to get the passing game comfortable. Maybe what they need to do is move to a play action set of pass plays, and that'll take a little bit of that upfield pressure off.
Mikowski told us last night we've got to do quick rhythm passing because I know I'm not going to have a lot of time. Well, they haven't been able to do that, and credit some of it to the Raider coverage in the secondary, but that front wall of Golick and Davis and Townsend and Long been active already. Second down, 14. There's the quick rhythm pass and the completion. And it's going to be a first down. Perry Kemp as he got it out near midfield.
Oh, they had a nice little rub situation going on there, a little bit of a pick.
I thought that was illegal.
Well, they just happen to be in the same area of the field.
Okay.
And watch over here on the left side of the screen. That's where that rub is going to take place. And what happens is Sterling Sharp comes up underneath, and that really brushes off the secondary. And now Perry Kemp coming back up right under numbers, makes the reception. You can barely see him until he popped from behind the defensive backs.
You see Sterling Sharp put his hands back as if to say, I was just trying to get out of the way.
Excuse me.
That's a big gainer, and the Packers are back in Raider territory. The ball just tucked on the Los Angeles side of the 50. First down, Green Bay. Darrell Thompson broke one tackle and then dives forward near the 46. A minute and 35 seconds to go in the first quarter at the Coliseum in Los Angeles, where the Raiders have capitalized on some Packer errors and a long kickoff return, a long penalty on a pass interference call, and turned them into Marcus Allen touchdowns. 13-3 where we stand right now. Again, Kansas City lost today, so the Raiders have a little bit of breathing room in the AFC West. And in the NFC Central, Minnesota won, Tampa Bay lost, so Green Bay can make up some ground on the Bears, who are running away with the division, if they can pull off the upset here on the road. Second down along 6 for Mikowski. Again, the quick rhythm pass. Jeff Cleary made a nice catch. I think he's going to be a little bit short of the first down unless they give him a great spot near the 40-yard line.
Now, we're looking at the development of Tony Mandrich, and he's going to be up at the top right-hand part of your screen, number 77. And watch how he works against Howie Long. See him set short. First of all, he's going to make sure Howie doesn't take the inside on him. And then he cut him off and went back outside. And Query just made an excellent reception outside.
You said something interesting last night to Lindy and Fonte. This will be a good lesson learner for a guy like Mandrich working against a Howie Long.
An excellent test, because he's going to see a lot of different things up front. You know, he's going to see some games up front. He's going to get a big, strong push-up upfield as well.
Woodside, the tailback in the eye behind Haddix, who's had the big start for Green Bay. First down, Packers. Nice play fake by Mikowski, and he had his man open in the flat. It was Haddix, but he overshot him. Don Mikowski, a man they started to call Magic last year after a brilliant season that saw him back up Joe Montana in the Pro Bowl.
And, you know, when talking to him and looking at the numbers, he said, hey, look, you know, it's not only me. You know, when we win, the quarterbacks probably get more than they deserve. And when you lose, it's the same situation. They get more attention than they deserve. But the offensive line had some holdouts. There were holdouts all over the team, and that affects everybody as much as having Don Mikowski holding out. So it's not all his problem. It's a team problem.
Of course, Mikowski signed just before the first regular season game and then didn't start the opener. Anthony Dilwig did. Comes the pressure on a blitz. Mikowski got away from that and might keep it now with a little bit of room on the sideline. He goes inside the 35 near the 33-yard line. Jerry Robinson ran him out. Nice pickup by Mikowski on the scramble.
Did you see what Robinson did, though? He just knocked the back down and went straight after him. But Sterling Sharp is going to get a lot of attention today. And right now you see the man-to-man coverage, inside technique. They're trying to push him to the sideline to limit the areas that he can run into. And that's the guy that Mikowski really wants to find downfield.
Well, it's been a Raiders quarter here at the Coliseum. With a 13-3 lead, the Raiders again have the Packers back in their own territory. But the first 15 minutes has belonged to the silver and black of Los Angeles. End of the first quarter, 13-3 again on Marcus Allen's 2 touchdowns. And there's the final on an unbelievable finish. Dave Craig throwing a touchdown pass with time completely out. And with that in mind, the AFC West standings again have the Raiders on top with a little more breathing room. They lost to Kansas City last week, but now if they can go to 7-2, that looks pretty good. Yeah,
and the thing that they have to worry about too, though, San Diego's starting to improve a great deal, and they're playing pretty well. Kansas City's the kind of team that you know they're going to be there at the end of the season. But right now, they've got to be thinking, hey, look, we play Raider football, play winning football, get a win today, and we're in really good shape heading down the stretch.
Some of the other games going on the West Coast and other finals from earlier today. New Orleans is warming up, aren't they?
And the other part is Tampa Bay is just absolutely collapsing now.
Miami continues to be the front runner along with Buffalo in the AFC East, and New England continues to have all kinds of trouble. The Packers had it 13.5 minutes in the first quarter, and they have a 10-point deficit to show for it.
So you want the ball less and you want more points.
That's right.
There's Jim Otto up there with Al Davis, and some of the Raider greats are here today. George Blanda. Today was the day that they presented Ted Hendricks with his Super Bowl, his Hall of Fame ring, in a ceremony that took place earlier. Gene Upshaw was here.
Upshaw gave you a little grief out of practice the other day. Actually, so did Art Shell, a couple of guys that blocked the sun on the left side of the Raiders line for so many years. So Green Bay to start the second quarter has it at the Raiders 33-yard line with a third down situation for Makowski, and he'll work from the gun with a 4 wideout group again. Makowski might want Fontenot, and the ball partially tipped, I think, by Townsend. Blitz coming from Aaron Wallace, too.
Well, what happened was
Aaron Wallace in the coverage for the Raiders. Incompletion brings up 4th down. 4 yards.
And we welcome those of you who have been watching the Bears and the Falcons. We welcome you to the Coliseum in Los Angeles as we are one play into the second quarter. Brad Nessler and Dan Jiggets along with you. It's the Raiders in front of the Packers 13-3. And the Packers trying to move up in the NFC Central standings while the Raiders are trying to stretch their lead in the AFC West. This will be a 51-yard field goal attempt by Chris Jackie. Does he have enough on it? He got it. Jackie from long range. His second longest field goal of the season. And that puts the Packers back on the scoreboard. They still trail by a touchdown here early second quarter.
The Cadillac Sedan DeVille.
The Chrysler 5th Avenue.
It's got a driver's side airbag, air conditioning, a powerful engine, available wire wheel covers, room for 6, dual electric mirrors.
As you can see, these two cars offer the same kind of luxury. More or less. Chrysler 5th Avenue.
Now get cashback savings or low APR financing on new 91 models.
This is Hamlet by William Shakespeare. This is Tire Tips by Bridgestone. One is filled with valuable writing and wisdom that can help you throughout your entire life. The other is a play. One is free, the other isn't. One comes complete with a free tire inspection and rotation at your participating Bridgestone retailer. The other comes complete with a bookmark. But while you can read Hamlet whenever you want, Tire Tips is only available for a limited time.
Getting around anywhere these days isn't easy. Getting a long-distance call through on AT&T is, even from non-AT&T public phones. Just dial 10-ATT-0 and the phone number.
AT&T.
10-ATT-0. Just to make getting through your day a little easier. AT&T. How can we help you?
.86 degrees game time temperature at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. 2 plays into the second quarter. Chris Jackie hits a 51-yard field goal to cut the Raider lead to 13-6. And the Packers certainly haven't panicked by any means, despite the fact the Raiders really have opened this thing up and have taken only a few plays to get in the end zone twice. Ron Brown and Jamie Holland are deep. This time it'll be Ron Brown at the goal line. Across the 25 to the 26 goes Brown, and that's where the Raiders go back to work offensively. Leroy Butler made the stop on the special teams. Raiders lead it by a touchdown early second quarter.
Presenting the $9,500 Advantage. It comes with the Chrysler New Yorker 5th Avenue, which comes with a fuel-efficient 3.3-liter V6, a standard driver's airbag, better owner care than any Cadillac sedan, and a price tag $9,500 less than Cadillac Sedan DeVille. Chrysler 5th Avenue. Luxury with a $9,500 Advantage.
Now get the added advantage of cash back or low APR financing on new 91 models.
New Britain, Connecticut is 119 miles from New York City. It only seems farther than that. People here live in the same houses their parents lived in, worship in churches where their grandparents worshiped, and work for the company their great-grandfathers built, the Stanley Works. So it's not surprising Stanley tools are made to last. It would only be surprising if they weren't.
Die Hard, America's most trusted replacement battery. Its breakthrough design gives you more power and more confidence from the start. Sears Die Hard, more power when you need it most.
Because there's a man planning his retirement. Because there's a family hoping to send their kids to college. Because every investor is different, with dreams all their own, Dean Witter measures success one investor at a time.
Brad Nessler and Dan Jiggets back at the Coliseum. 14:41 to go first half. The Raiders by a touchdown. Tony Mandrich buried under that towel.
There's the man, Art Shell. You know, you talk to all the players here in the Raiders, and they tell you that Art only requires a couple of things. It says be on time and expect to win. And that's, I think, the difference now in the philosophy of the Raiders is they come in expecting to win a football game. And that's very much like it was when Art was a player here.
Or as Bob Golick put it, he's got two rules, be on time, and I can't remember the other one. First down for the Raiders. They'll work from their own 25. Bo Jackson, the single setback. Bo may have moved a little bit early. Flags go down. I think Bo took a step toward the line of scrimmage before the snap. It'll be 1st and 15. They'll back it up to the 20.
And it looks like Bo's wearing some moon shades today. Cut down on that glare out there. You know, plays in the outfield for the Chiefs.
Illegal motion, number 34 on the offense. That penalty is declined. Second down.
You see Don Mosbar, number 72. He's the center, making the calls along the line of scrimmage. He's got to talk to both sides of that offensive line to make sure that everybody gets the message. Problem was there is that Bo just decided to leave a little early.
Mosbar, they feel, having a Pro Bowl type season. And number 72.
And he's got Max Montoya right next to him, was having a great season, and Steve Wisniewski up inside as well.
Packers declined the penalty, so it's 2nd and 10. Bo Jackson. Bo got about 4. Johnny Holland got over there defensively. Bob Nelson rolls over from his nose tackle spot to help out on the tackle. Next week, big college football doubleheader for you Saturday. It'll be Texas and TCU in game 1. Dan and I will be there, and Jim and Tim will have Tennessee and Ole Miss. That one will decide who's going into the Sugar Bowl. Doubleheader. And Andrea and Mike will get it underway with college football today next week, and a big doubleheader. We hope you join us.
Well, Texas just dismantled Houston, who's ranked number 3, number 4 in the country, and they look like they've got the whip down in that conference now.
Boy, I guess. 3rd and long for Jay Schrader. From the backside, down he goes, and the ball loose, and the Packers have it. Tim Harris comes up with a fumble. Sean Patterson leveled Schrader. He just didn't feel him coming from the backside.
Tim Harris displays some of his other abilities by flipping the ball up on his fingers there. We talked to him yesterday. He said he was a little upset with the fact that he felt that he hadn't been rushing the passer as much. There's the game. You saw Rory Graves turn around and spin back inside. Patterson knocks the ball loose, and Tim Harris picks up the fumble. But one of the things that's happening is he's picking up a lot of double teams, and when he run those games, that'll throw the double team off because all of a sudden he's unaccounted for when he slides in one position.
As we said, the Packers certainly have not panicked, and now they're in great shape to tie this thing up as they work offensively at the Raider 21-yard line. Haddix, the single setback, gets it on a quick draw and got back to the line of scrimmage.
The Raiders had 8 men up on the line of scrimmage, and what they're doing there is they're challenging you and finding out if you want to try to throw behind them, try to beat them quick. You run the ball up in there, though. The good news is, as an offense, is that if you get past the line of scrimmage on a play like that, you're gone.
Now, we saw that last week with Pittsburgh and Atlanta. When Warren Williams got through that first wave and went 70-plus yards for a touchdown. Second down, a long 9 for Makowski. Right at the Raider 20-yard line. Two tight ends set here. Makowski in trouble again. Got it away and completed it to Kemp. And Kemp gets it to the 14-yard line.
Pass is complete to Barry Kemp.
Talk about the athleticism of quarterbacks. Don Makowski is probably one of the best athletes playing the position of quarterback in the National Football League. And it's an unusual thing when you see a quarterback on the run like this, after he gets flushed out by Howie Long, to be able to whirl around, get away from Howie Long and Greg Townsend, and still get the ball up and just nail it in there to his receiver.
You know, coming in, Makowski had been sacked, as we said, 23 times, and that total's been added to by 3 today. But they figure he'd been hit 28 more times as soon as he let go of the ball. Well, there's number 29 in that category. He got pasted by Townsend.
We'll add a lot more to that today.
Big third down for the Packers. Makowski overshot Fontenot by a mile.
And the reason why is, Brad, he just can't get comfortable in the pocket. Tony Manders got beat like a drum on that play by Townsend. Townsend's got exceptional outside speed. One of the things that Tony may want to do is cut off the inside. Now watch him here. He's going to take a kick step to the outside. That's Manders, number 77. He's got his hands up in good shape, but he puts his head down. And as soon as you put your head down and lean forward, a guy like Townsend's going to rip you over the top and go right to the quarterback.
Townsend, all-pro caliber player for the Raiders, forces that incompletion. Chris Jackie in to try another field goal. This one from 32 yards away, and he got this one. So Jackie's right foot keeping the Packers very much in the game. They add 3 more onto the total and trail 13-9.
I want to review today's scores very briefly. No. 86, 94, 92, and 1 hieroglyph. That's before we got to the back 9.
I didn't think anybody was keeping score today.
All I'm right. It says here that on the 3rd hole you hit, I don't know, you
a 90-yard putt.
I do. It wasn't a flash.
Levi's 100% cotton Dockers. If they're not Dockers, they're just pants.
Oh, there you go! Toss me the towel, please, Darnell.
Hey, did you stop using your medicated shampoo?
Not with my dandruff.
But your hair feels so nice. I didn't think your shampoo could do that.
Really?
Used to be, treating persistent dandruff could leave you with medicated hair. Introducing new intensive treatment. It helps protect your hair while it gives you the most effective medicine available without a prescription.
Honey, let's not talk about my dandruff problem, okay?
What problem?
New Head & Shoulders intensive treatment. Tough on dandruff without medicated hair.
Chrysler Fifth Avenue, Imperial, and New Yorker Salon are all engineered with ABS brakes, so you're safer when you drive. With our hands-free visor phone, you're safer making a call. Our remote entry system means you're safer at night. And our driver's airbag means you're safer in an accident. Chrysler safety, because the most important thing that goes into our cars is you.
Now get cashback savings or low APR financing on new 91 models.
See it first. See it free. For the first time on television, Uncle Buck, Tuesday.
12:30 to play first half. The Raiders 13-9 leaders over the Green Bay Packers. And Chris Jackie, despite the fact he's playing with a bad cold today, hasn't affected his right leg at all. His 3rd field goal has the Packers right in the thick of this one. The Raiders haven't needed much offense thanks to penalties and kickoff returns. And they'll return another one. This is Ron Brown. Oh, he got leveled at about the 19-yard line. Nice job as Jerry Woods and Johnny Holland are down there on the special teams to make the hit on Ron Brown.
Ron was looking over there like, yeah, they stuck me on that one. Ron Brown is playing defensive back now here for the Raiders. He's playing cornerback, and that's an experiment, certainly. He played wide receiver for so many years with the Rams. But, again, he fits into that whole philosophy of the Raiders of overall team speed.
They've got a world-class relay team here. If you want to throw Willie Galt in there and Tim Brown and obviously Ron Brown and Bo Jackson wouldn't be a bad choice. Let's see if he can run it to the corner after saying he's got speed. He did get there and got about 4 yards and then got into a head-on collision with Tim Harris. There's the shades Bo has on, and there's Tim Harris, who would like to get a little more pressure on the opposing quarterbacks.
One of the things that he does so well, though, is on the run plays now. He's starting to defend that a lot better. Here's working against Ethan Horton, and Ethan's got a nice hole inside on him, a real hole inside on him. But this play really was successful because of Bo Jackson's exceptional outside speed. Really, that play shouldn't have made the yardage that it did.
12:04 to go first half. Raiders with the lead.
Neither snow nor rain nor heat nor gloom of night stays these couriers from the swift completion of their appointed rounds.
With your help, by using a complete address, we at the post office have new technology to deliver even better on a promise we made a long time ago.
The Cadillac Sedan DeVille.
The Chrysler, 5th Avenue.
It's got a driver's side airbag, air conditioning, a powerful engine, available wire wheel covers, room for 6, dual electric mirrors.
As you can see, these two cars offer the same kind of luxury. More or less. Chrysler 5th Avenue.
Now get cashback savings or low APR financing on new 91 models.
Back at the Coliseum, that's Chuck Cecil who's trying to work off the injury incurred with a head-on collision with Bo Jackson.
It looked like he's got a pinched nerve down there. Watch him come in here. He on the collision with Bo Jackson. You see how he hits it on that shoulder, and you saw him tapping the arm. And one of the things that you get is feels like lightning's going up and down your arm. And you're trying to get that feeling back in there when you're hitting that arm like Chuck Cecil was.
Second down for the Raiders at their own 24. Bo comes the other way. First down.
Bo Jackson, the ball carrier.
Okay, the Raiders ran the same play about 3 times in a row. They just run it right and run it left. And Steve Wisniewski's getting into it with Tim Harris down there. Well, I tell you what, Tim, that's a tough group to get tangled up with.
Even had a finger pointed at one of the Raider coaches. And Archell kind of helps break that up.
You think they care?
I think I spoke too soon. They say that Bo stepped out. He may be a little bit short of the first down.
They feel that Bo has a lot more success running to the left side, and he's just a little bit more comfortable doing that. And I know when I played with the Bears, Walter Payton was always much more comfortable running to the right.
Schrader will throw on 3rd and short. And got it complete. No, Willie Gault stepped out. Got one foot in, but not the other. Jerry Holmes was covering for Green Bay.
You know, Willie Gault can run about 25 miles an hour. I guess one of the hardest things to do, I don't know, I've never ran that fast, but I guess one of the hardest things to do is control yourself when you're going at that speed. Coming out of the break, he had an opportunity there clearly to make the reception.
Out here, you can't even drive that fast.
Yeah, isn't that the truth?
That was the first pass attempted by Jay Schrader, and it was incomplete. And so Jeff Gossett will kick one away. He's had a couple blocked this year. Jeff Query back deep for Green Bay. In fact, the 2 losses incurred by the Raiders, both times Gossett's had punts blocked. He got this one away. A lazy kick. Query will take the fair catch at the 31-yard line. 41-yard punt and a fair catch on the other end. And the Green Bay offense goes back on the field, trailing 13-9.
A doubleheader. First, the resurgent Longhorns battle TCU. Yeehaw! Then a clash of SEC powers. Tennessee collides with Ole Miss next Saturday.
This is a special training course where Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts learn to deal with physical obstacles. Here, they learn self-confidence and reliance. I'm Brian Noble of the Green Bay Packers, and I got a very personal reason for working with these young people as a United Way volunteer. I was a Boy Scout myself, and I know the tough problems they face trying to grow up in a society where drug and alcohol abuse are commonplace. Through scouting and programs like this, which are made possible by your contributions to the United Way, these kids are making the right choices. Staying in school, saying no to all of the things that can rob them of their futures. This is my wife, Cindy, and she was a Girl Scout. We both grew up in scouting, and these are my daughters, Taylor and Amanda. When you give to the United Way, you're joining all of the volunteers and organizations that make up the United Way, and you're saying you care. Because of the United Way, it brings out the best in all of us.
This message furnished by the National Football League.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Chrysler, where luxury is engineered to give you the advantage. The United States Postal Service, we deliver for you. And by Levi's Dockers. If they're not Dockers, they're just pants.
Back in what is not so sunny Southern California right now, but sure was at kickoff time. 11:08 to go in the half. 13-9, the Raiders with the lead. Brad Nessler and Dan Jiggets with you. And the Green Bay offense, which has had more offense than the Raiders despite the scoreboard, works from its own 31-yard line. Haddix the single setback. That's Woodside in motion. Mikowski, quick slant, and too much for Sterling Sharp. He got one hand on it.
And we mentioned before, Brad, that maybe that's what the kind of rhythm passing game that the Packers wanted to try today. And that time the offensive line just simply fired out and tried to cut the legs out of the defensive line of the Raiders.
Sterling Sharp had two brilliant catches, actually more than two catches, but two that were those kind that you'll lay out for. One for a touchdown, one on a long completion last week against the 49ers. And a 24-20 loss, and that's what the Packers are trying to rebound from here at the Coliseum today. 2nd and 10. Mikowski appeared to have changed things up at the line. It won't matter. He's got Howie Long draped all over it.
Howie Long comes in almost unmolested. Watch him here on the right side of your screen along that defensive line. Now they tried to cut block that time up front, that Howie just read it perfectly, came around the block and made the sack.
Keith Euchre, the right guard, the guy that tried to go low, but Howie Long has seen just about all of it.
He says he's not going to take any Bob Euchres either. Show me a little respect. Don't cut my legs. Howie Long is really enjoying himself now. He's in his 10th season here with the Raiders, and he's one of the only original Oakland Raiders still left on this team since they've moved to Los Angeles.
Time of possession so misleading when you look at the scoreboard. Mikowski to Sharp. And Sharp still going on the sideline. Got it to midfield. Pickup of 14. Making a pickup of 24, excuse me.
One of the things you really have to like about Sterling Sharp is he's got such good strength. At about 200 pounds, it's unusual to find a receiver with that kind of strength. Nice little explosion there off the line of scrimmage. He gets out of the hole great, and he runs after he makes the reception very nicely here. And Anderson, number 33, bench presses 520-some pounds, and he spun away from him.
Sterling Sharp has put up some big numbers early in his career. Now in his 3rd season out of South Carolina. And he gets the Packers back in Raider territory at the Los Angeles 49. They go back to Haddix inside. He's been a workhorse. And he's well over 50 yards rushing so far on the day. Sterling Sharp in his 3rd season, and after 2 years, he compares favorably with all the big names.
Yeah, and you mentioned some names. Those are some names. Steve Largent, Charlie Joyner, Art Monk.
They're the top 3 all time.
And Jerry Rice, who's a contemporary of his. Jerry's a couple years ahead of him, of course, but Sterling Sharp is right up there, and you have to believe that right now he's the 2nd best receiver in the league behind Jay Rice.
There he is, number 84, Sterling Sharp. 2nd down at 5 for the Packers at the Raider 44. Haddix again. This time not much. Off the right side, Townsend made the first hit. Haddix, who was shaken up earlier, back out there now.
I think the important thing about the drives that you see the Packers going on, though, when they take them, is that what it does when you run that football is that now it gives that line a chance to you know, buckle up the chin strap a little bit and hit some people rather than being in a retreating position all the time and being at the mercy of the defensive line.
Lindy Infante looks down on that card and looking and hoping to see if he has the right call on 3rd down and a long 3 as Makowski works from the gun with 4 wide receivers. This will be Green Bay's 36th offensive play. The Raiders have only 11. The quick slant again, and he got it to Query. 1st down, Packers. They've gone to the quick rhythm passing, Dan, and it certainly has helped the cause.
And when you have a quick receiver like Query out there, you catch that quick slant, you can turn it into a touchdown. But one of the things with the Raiders is their secondary has pretty good speed.
Query may be the fastest member of the Packer team. They call him White Lightning.
He can take it the distance.
1st down to the Raider 35. So the Packers, despite the fact they found themselves down early on a couple of big plays by the Raiders, have scrapped back. They trail 13-9 on a 1st down at the Los Angeles 35. Makowski. I don't know if somebody got a hand on that or not, but he one-hops it on the far side. It'll be 2nd and 10. The Coliseum in Los Angeles, a place that will be renovated starting as soon as the final gun goes off to end this season. But the Raiders have not lost here in the last 10 outings under Art Shell, and they lead the Green Bay Packers 13-9 thanks to a long kickoff return by Jamie Holland, and Marcus Allen has 2 short touchdown runs. But Chris Jacke's kept the Packers in as they've kept their poise and kicked 3 field goals and trail 13-9. Should be a flag there, and there is. Lionel Washington draped all over Sterling Sharp.
If I were Lionel Washington, I'd be embarrassed to run up there and argue that call. He was on him like a cheap suit.
Pass interference, number 48 on the defense. 1st down.
I think we'll see Lionel Washington try to rip the name off Sterling Sharp's jersey here.
See, now he's got a good push right there, but he's beaten right now. And you see he's got the outside arm wrapped around Sterling Sharp, and that's what the call was. Nice, you know, old pro move there, but not an all pro move because you got caught.
So that pass interference call goes against the Raiders, as the Packers had one earlier, and it's a 1st down Green Bay, just outside the Los Angeles 27-yard line. Again, they show a 3 wide receiver type set, and penalty markers all over the place as Bob Golick came flying across the line.
We knew he always danced to his own drummer, but that's a little outrageous. You see him, he's pointing now. You see, that's important. When you jump off, you point to the other guy.
Number 79 on the defense, still 1st down.
Golick, of course, started his career as a linebacker, and then he says, I went through a de-evolutionary process. You go from linebacker where you're a walking, talking, upright, thinking, 2-legged individual, and now I'm a 4-legged, crawling, sniveling beast.
Hey, at practice, here's a guy that wears a spiked collar to practice and let somebody put a leash on it. So
Bo Jackson came out with Golick on a leash yesterday at the Raiders walkthrough, and that got a lot of laughs from the people that are out there for Family Day every Saturday. He is one crazy nose tackle. 1st down and 5 now for Makowski. It looks again as though he changes it up at the line of scrimmage. Haddock's got blasted behind the line. Long is there, so's Jerry Robinson, and Golick, the man we just talked about.
Brad earlier talked about how the Raider defensive line likes to penetrate. Watch Bob Golick, number 79. See, you knock off a couple of those offensive linemen off their blocks. Howie Long slams Euchre back up into the backfield. That disrupts the whole play right there. You get that big push up front. Those guys don't necessarily care where they go. They just want to get the penetration and disturb the flow of the play.
Golick says playing nose tackle, he says it's like being a fire hydrant at a dog show. You got to draw some attention in there. And he got double teamed that time and still helped out on the tackle. 2nd down and 6, Green Bay. Blitz coming. And again, Howie Long and Golick in company. Drop Haddock for a loss. Scott Davis is there too.
Well, you know, they're talking a little trash up there now. They got some guys that can fill it up too. Townsend's in there along with Golick.
Boy, Leslie did a piece on smash mouth football on the NFL today. It's trash mouth football out there right now, I think, for the Raiders and the Packers.
Well, you know, you look at somebody like Golick, he's really a combination of a Lyle Alzado who used to play here with the Raiders and a lot of those crazies that they had up there in that defensive line, but he plays under control very much.
Makowski from the gun. 50% on the day. He's got a 4 wide-out group on 3rd and long. Got a safety valve in Fontenot if he can get to the stick, and I think he did. First down, Green Bay at the 16-yard line. Again, Fontenot's specialty is as a 3rd down back, as a receiver out of the backfield.
One thing that Green Bay has shown so far in this drive is a lot of patience, and if you get Don Makowski a little bit of protection like they did this time, and he gets to unload the football and step up in the pocket, then he's going to be successful. And certainly Fontenot has good hands out of the backfield, as you mentioned, Brad.
Approaching the 5.5-minute mark, remaining 2nd quarter. And the 11th play of the drive coming up for Green Bay, as they hope not only to score, but to take the lead for the first time today. Again, in the Raider red zone inside the 20. Makowski got it delivered. It's going to be close to another first down to Sterling Sharp. They may have to take a look at this one just outside the 5-yard line. The Packers may be hoping that this isn't a first down, but I think it is. They're moving the sticks. 3rd catch for Sterling Sharp.
Now let's watch the protection that Makowski has afforded on this opportunity. Good protection up inside by Keith Euchre. He keeps Howie Long out of it. You see how Makowski's able to step up in there and throw the football and follow through on the pass, and that's the key for him right now.
2 tight ends set, West and Harris. The Packers love to throw to the tight end in this situation down close. It is 1st and goal at the 5. Play fake. Makowski goes back, and this is Workman, touchdown. Vince Workman, and a touchdown, Green Bay, and the Packers in front. Packers never got rattled in this first half of football, despite the fact that the Raiders had some big plays for some really cheap points, and now they lead 15-13, and Jackie in for the point after. And it's good. And suddenly Green Bay has come back to lead by 3 with 4:22 to play in the half.
I smoke, but on this flight, cigarettes are grounded. My answer? Wrigley Spearmint Gum. And that cool, clean taste never lets me down. When I can't smoke, I enjoy pure chewing satisfaction.
Roll with the clean, fresh taste of Bud Light. It won't fill you up, never lets you down.
I'm visiting my in-laws. I smoke. They don't. No bother. I've got Wrigley Spearmint Gum. That cool, clean taste is most inviting. When I can't smoke, I enjoy pure chewing satisfaction.
Okay, watch how Green Bay gets on the board with play action. Watch the reaction of the linebackers, Ricky Ellison, number 50, and number 54, Benson. You see them sweeping all the way over to their left. Now they go, uh-oh, the play's going back to the other side. Good fake on the play action here by Makowski. Watch the handoff. You see him tuck that ball up, hide it, and then come back to the other side to Workman. he's in great shape. He's also got the tight end opened up top in the end zone, so it was a pick-em situation.
We said they love to throw that play where they show the motion one way and come back to the tight end, or in this case the running back, and it paid off for the Packers. Jackie kicks it away to Ron Brown at the 6. Boy, is he upended, and a penalty marker as Harris, the guy we just talked about, the backup tight end, maybe an illegal block on top of that big collision.
Jackie Harris had a head of steam coming down, and one of the only ways to block a man when he's coming down that fast is you try to push him past your receiver, and that time they got him in the back.
Illegal block during the run back, number 42 on the receivers, first down at 10.
So you're going to try to get him out of the way, but if he's going that fast, you can just get your hands on him. You're lucky to do that, and right there is where the penalty took place.
Vance Mueller picks up the penalty. 16-13 Green Bay.
When you're on top, everybody wants a shot at you.
And to stay on top, you know you can't stand still, cause you don't know how, and you never will. Ford trucks, the best ever is.
That's why Ford uses the latest in technology and engineering, working to make our trucks even better.
Ford trucks, the best ever is.
The best built, best-selling American trucks are built Ford tough.
Some people see shaving as something you do for 3 minutes a day. At Braun, we see it as something you do for a lifetime. And we think you should make the best of it. The Braun Shaver, with its 3 shaving positions. Designed for those who choose to make a virtue out of necessity. Braun, the world's #1 selling foil shaver.
Battery you want is the one that will keep running. And no regular battery can run longer than a Duracell. You can't top the copper top.
I don't think Greg Townsend and Scott Davis have the same barber, but I'm not sure.
Scott is over there trying to get some clean air. Very little clean air out here in Los Angeles. So he's going to get some that's manufactured in the bottle.
We have a little bit of a haze now over the stadium, and haze is settled in on the Raider offense. This is their worst field position of the day, following the penalty on Vance Mueller on the kickoff, backing the Raiders up inside their own 10, and Jay Schrader will have his own goal line behind him here should he choose to pass. He'll keep it on the ground. Smith, the fullback, out across the 12-yard line. Reminder for you, next Sunday is another doubleheader day of NFL action here on CBS. Game 1, you'll see Detroit and the Giants. And in the late game, most of you will see Chicago and Denver, plus other regional action. It all begins with the NFL today at 12:30, and a feature on Mike Ditka and Dan Reeves. Former teammates, still close friends. They're 2 of the league's most successful and intense coaches, and they're both coming back from heart problems, too. That'll be interesting. Next week, NFL doubleheader right here on CBS. Here comes a blitz. Gets out near the 15-yard line. Bob Nelson, the nose tackle, the first man there.
This is a very interesting matchup from the standpoint of strength against strength. The Raiders are trying to run up into the inside of that Packer defense, and that's really their strength up inside. The 2 gappers up there, and then those inside linebackers. I saw Matt Brock going off the field for the Packers, and Bob Nelson, 79.
Third down situation for Jay Schrader. 3 wide receiver set with Marcus Allen split out as a wideout. Schrader got it to Ethan Horton, his tight end, with a first down to the 22-yard line. Jerry Holmes stopped him there. Ethan Horton's an interesting story, too. A former #1 draft choice by the Kansas City Chiefs as a running back out of North Carolina.
One of the things about the Raiders that they're always willing to do is if they think that somebody can fit in at a different position, somewhere totally different from where they came in at, they'll certainly give you that opportunity. And we talked about Ron Brown earlier, switching over to the secondary from the receiver position.
And Horton's really taken to that tight end position, especially just the last 3 or 4 weeks, Jay Schrader says he's been an immense help. First down for the Raiders, and Schrader to throw again. Wide opens Jackson. And both will be close to another first down. Scott Stephen, the linebacker, made the stop. And they'll put it down at the 33-yard line. So they'll move the sticks again, and we're down to the 2-minute warning. 2-minute warning. Green Bay leading the Raiders by a field goal.
This shows where we were throughout the whole thing. You know, looking at that now, I realize how close it was. And this is what's left of our garage. We didn't have much left in there at all. And this is what's left of our camping trailer that ended up in our neighbor's tree. They were here right away to help us out, and that's all true.
Look around.
It's only been a few days, and they're already here rebuilding our house.
Allstate still, even though it's been 3.5 weeks later, they're still calling to find out how we're doing.
Walk into a television showroom, and someone will probably try to sell you a set with a foreign name on it. Before you see their choice, ask to see yours. Ask to see the first TVs that combine digital video and audio, with a performance to back it up. Ask for picture-in-picture with triple flashback. Ask for a single remote that can learn to run everything. Ask to see a Zenith. For true innovation in television, quality never looked more like a Zenith.
They're big, they're bad, they're unbelievable. The Bears pounding their way to the top. Now they battle the Broncos next Sunday.
Green Bay leads the Raiders by a score of 16-13, but the Raiders are on the move, and this is the reason why. Watch Jay Schrader as he's in the pocket. He's able to step up. He gets good protection. He can step up, step forward, and deliver the football to Bo Jackson. That's the difference between a quarterback throwing under duress and being able to look downfield and pick out his receivers.
Jager warming up on the sideline, hoping the Raiders give him a chance to tie it before halftime. Schrader again with time. And again finds his man, Mervin Fernandez. Got it near the 50, then got leveled by Chuck Cecil, who's back in there.
Oh, boy, but did he get a block from Ethan Horton, number 88? A real key block downfield. Now watch Noble. Keep your eye on Brian Noble, number 91. As he goes back into coverage, he's going to turn around and chase on the play. He thinks he's got his sights set on Mervin Fernandez, but right there, that's when he gets the shot from Ethan Horton.
Raiders go without a huddle as Schrader calls it at the line at the 48. First down for Los Angeles. They trail 16-13. Schrader getting some pressure this time and escapes on the roll. And now he'll take it out of bounds. Got 2 or 3 and stepped out. It'll be 2nd and 7. 1:13 to go in the half. The Raiders scored early in this ball game after a long pass interference penalty, and then they got a long kickoff return. Marcus Allen a couple of touchdowns rushing. Jackie kept the Packers in there with his field goals. And then Mikowski and the Packers kept their poise, and they lead now.
I think that was the key thing, Brad. They kept their poise and kept coming back and not giving up because the situation looked desperate. You're down 13-zip or 13-3 or whatever, and just kept at it and stayed consistent with what they wanted to do coming in, and they've gotten back in front of this ball game.
Jager would like another chance, too, because he missed an extra point after the second touchdown. Schrader all day. Maybe too much time. Finally got it to his tight end, Horton. And this will be a Raider first down at the 41.
You'd hate to think that maybe the Packers defense was trying to run out the clock on the play.
1:03 to go in the half.
Barbecue? Sure, but summer's over. Baggett? McDonald's? Hey, McRib. All right. You know, I sure could go for some, fries and a Coke with that. A McRib pack. I'll take it. Hey, let's eat. Oops, better do it now, huh? McRib. McDonald's.
For food, folks, and fun. Chomp.
While it's not unusual to find a four-wheel drive vehicle in an environment like this, you may be surprised to find an environment like this in a four-wheel drive vehicle. Ford Aerostar four-wheel drive with standard rear anti-lock brakes and a powerful 4-liter V6 engine. It handles the road as easily as it handles Mother Nature.
Have you driven a Ford lately?
A new health instructor is getting physical.
Wayne's all hormones.
But his workout is a real killer.
No pain, no gain. Oh, dear.
Murder, She Wrote. Then, if you've ever thought of having an affair,
I'm scared, Jimmy.
think again. Michael Douglas, Glenn Close, Ann Archer. Fatal Attraction. Tonight. An accidental poisoning, and your toddler's life hangs in the balance.
I didn't think that I'd see her alive again.
On Rescue 911, Tuesday.
That offensive line has given Jay Schrader tremendous time, Dan.
Yeah, you know, the last pass play, I think he had about 4 or 5 seconds on the play just to sit back there and review things. And they're double teaming Tim Harris, and that's taking him out of the mix in terms of the pass rush. But watch how much time Jay Schrader has. And as you see our clock running now, he said he needed about 2.5 to 3 seconds to find his receivers downfield, and he's gotten way more than that.
Schrader 4 out of 5 on the day for 41 yards, and he's perfect 4 for 4 on this drive, as the Raiders hope to tie it or take the lead before they head to the locker room. They're down 16-13. Draw play inside to about the 37-yard line. Bo Jackson before Brian Noble can stop him. And again, the Raiders will line it up at the line of scrimmage. See the clock there in the corner of your screen.
Jay Schrader crediting Mike White, his quarterback coach, with his development this year, and it's coming a long way.
Steps up, throws across the middle short, and Fernandez forgot to take it with him. Crossing pattern has been a good one from Irvin Fernandez since he joined the Raiders, and he would have had some big yardage there, I think.
And you look at the passing game of the Raiders, and you have to believe that a lot of it is because of Mike White there, who's now the passing coordinator here for the Raiders. And I talked with Mike before the game because there were reports that he was in line to become the next head coach at with the Indianapolis Colts, and he goes, hey, if you mentioned it, I wouldn't mind, but no, nobody has contacted me to this point.
And of course the Colts won today over New England. That'll help the entire situation. It always does. 3rd down and long. Complete. Tim Brown inside the 25 to the 23. Jerry Holmes there to help on the stop. Pick up a 14 and a little fight going on. Mark Murphy, the strong safety, mixing it up with Tim Brown. And the Raiders take a timeout to stop the clock. 28 seconds to go till halftime. Los Angeles trailing by 3.
What do you think? Here's a better idea.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome to the Bermuda Triangle.
No wonder nobody ever comes back.
Yes, it beats so good.
Tell Nuprin where it hurts.
It hurts behind my eyes. Right here.
Nuprin works at the site of pain, right at the spot. It helps stop the chemical reaction that triggers pain.
Headache? What headache?
Tell Nuprin where it hurts.
I overdid it. Pain's right in the small of my back.
Nuprin works at the site of pain. It has ibuprofen. It actually works right at the spot, right where you need it.
Pain's gone. Back feels great.
Tell Nuprin where it hurts.
Winning the world over. We're winning the whole world over. Winning the world over. Have you driven a Ford lately? As long as the world keeps spinning, we're gonna keep on winning. Winning the world over. Have you driven a Ford lately?
Schrader had a run for his life that time as he got some pressure from Green Bay's defense and used 7 seconds and tiptoed out of bounds. 21 seconds left now, but he didn't have to use the final timeout. That's the good news. So the Raiders can regroup, trailing by 3 here with 21 ticks left before halftime.
Matt Brock, number 62, really gets after Jay Schrader. He bounced inside. Don Mosbar tried to chase him out, but no good. I'm sure Matt Brock is going, hey, I didn't know those quarterbacks could run that fast.
Second down for the Raiders at the Green Bay 23. 21 seconds to go till intermission and 1 timeout left for the Raiders. They trail 16-13. Schrader to Tim Brown again. Brown, nice move inside the 10. He's to the 7. And the Raiders will use their final timeout with 9 seconds to go.
Just taking their time and letting Tim Brown develop a route up underneath. You see the secondary bouncing back off of there. Brown just comes back up underneath of the linebackers. Good little move there to shake a couple of tacklers or would-be tacklers, and he gets downfield.
Raiders out of timeouts, Dan. I would say it's safe to say with 9 seconds to go, they've got 1 legitimate shot to go to the end zone before bringing in the field goal unit.
And you figure if the play, if it's a pass play, it maybe takes, if it's incomplete, it takes about 3 seconds, maybe 4. So, yeah, you got an opportunity if you don't get it into the end zone or you don't score to come back and take the field goal.
They're in great shape to do no worse than try to tie it before halftime.
Terry Rubisky over there with Art Shell, and Terry handles everything. He's the offensive coordinator here for Art.
It is 1st and goal at the 7. That's really immaterial. The Raiders have probably 1 chance to go to the end zone and then would have to settle for the field goal. Marcus Allen, the single setback. Tim Brown in motion. Schrader to the end zone. Willie Gault thought he was interfered with. No call. And we've got 4 seconds left.
And Jay Schrader is going all the way over to the corner of the end zone to argue his point with the side judge. He'll take it up with anybody that'll listen to him.
So Jeff Jagger in to try to tie the game at intermission.
He'll go down there, a couple of those cameramen, and talk to him if they'll listen.
It was a well-engineered drive by Jay Schrader. Jagger's numbers on the season, this will be a 24-yard attempt. This would help to make up for the extra point he had blocked earlier to try to tie it at halftime. And he does. We're in a dead heat at intermission. That's the end of the first half. The score, the Green Bay Packers 16, the Los Angeles Raiders 16.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? McDonald's, you know the one. It's McDonald's for food, folks, and fun. And by Budweiser with that clean, crisp, cold taste. Nothing beats a Bud.
Don't care about movie stars who live in Hollywood. Don't like their attitude, don't think I ever could. Don't want the good taste, I know I taste good. Why the best thing's always so misunderstood. Just give me what the doctor ordered. Just what the doctor ordered. Hey, give me a Dr. Pepper. We want it. Hey, that's a snapper. Dr. Order. The taste of strange powder. We love it.
Get Met. It pays.
Still wonder if shopping less stump Ford's a good idea? We'll show you. In black and white, you get more from less.
You won't believe it, but Les Stump has 91 Fords at just $69.95. Yes, a 91 Tempo L, $69.95. The 91 Ford Escort, $69.95. Or a 91 Ford Ranger pickup, $69.95. Believe it, 3 great 91s, 1 great price, $69.95.
You get more from less. Less Stump Ford Appleton.
She doesn't know it, but something amazing is about to happen to Sally Johnson at her local Lube Pros. In just 10 minutes, Lube Pros will change the oil using quality Pennzoil, change the filter, lube the chassis, check belt, PCV valve, air filter, steering shocks, exhaust wipers, tire pressure, top off all fluids, including transmission, power steering, battery, brake, differential, and washer fluid. Clean the windshield, vacuum the interior. You get world-class protection with Pennzoil products, and at Lube Pros, you get a lot more than just an oil change.
Get your car ready for fall at Lube Pros with a professional oil change featuring the world-class protection of Pennzoil.
Welcome back to New York, everyone. Along with Terry Bradshaw, I'm Greg Gumbel. Let's run down the scores for you as you are enjoying a Green Bay Raider game at halftime. It's a 16-16 tie as the Raiders kick the field goal just before halftime to send it to a tie. And Don Majkowski having a pretty good day so far. 10 of 17, 104 yards and a touchdown.
Not bad. The Packers need to win this football game and get back in the hunt. You know, that NFC Central's kind of crazy, even though the Bears are running away from it. On the other side, if you look what the Raiders doing, they don't throw a lot, the Raiders, but when they do, it looks pretty good. They like to throw it deep.
Meanwhile, the other game taking place out in the Los Angeles area, the Rams and the Giants have just begun the second half, and the Giants lead it by a score of 10-0. And a fair share of Giants fans out in Anaheim, and they loved it in the second quarter with Phil Simms hitting Mark Ingram for a 30-yard pickup. Ingram on the old crossing pattern before he is ridden out of bounds, and Phil Simms loving every moment of that. And then from 9 yards out, Simms to Bavaro.
Play action pass. We see this all year long. One of these days we'll do a chart on touchdown passes and how long they are as the average. This is a 9-yard, a good job by Simms. Bavaro, big, smart tight end, finds the hole, sits down. Simms got him the ball.
Matt Barr with a 44-yard field goal, 10-0 Giants as they begin the second half of play. And in San Diego, 3 field goals have the Chargers on top of the Denver Broncos by a score of 9-7. More bits and pieces of the College Bowl picture coming into play. Earlier, we reported that #1 Notre Dame and Colorado of the Big Eight have agreed to meet in the Orange Bowl for the second straight year. Now we've learned that Miami will accept a bid from the Mobile Cotton Bowl against the winner of the Southwest Conference, where as of this moment, the University of Texas holds the inside track. You will see that Mobile Cotton Bowl on New Year's Day at 1:30 Eastern Time here on CBS Sports. Finally, moments ago, the University of Virginia issued a statement about its bowl plans. The school did not make reference to the Fiesta Bowl, as had been expected. Instead, Virginia indicated that if issued an invitation from the Sugar Bowl, it would accept such a bid to play in New Orleans. We'll step aside here, and we'll have scores and highlights from action earlier today when the NFL Today continues on CBS after this word from your local station.
60 Minutes tonight. If war breaks out in the Middle East, this baby can handle anything they throw at us, only it doesn't work. $12 billion, and it doesn't work.
But come on.
So where's your wife? I don't think having dinner with anybody's a crime. Not yet.
The passion.
What happened? I woke up, you weren't here. I hate that.
The threat.
I'm not going to be ignored.
If you've ever thought of having an affair, think again. Michael Douglas, Glenn Close.
Calling you, Mark. I'm scared, Jimmy.
Fatal Attraction.
This is CBS. Why wait to buy a new car? You can get a great deal right now during your Chrysler Plymouth dealers clearance. Every Chrysler and every Plymouth in stock is clearance price to go. Check out Plymouth Voyager with up to $1,000 in special option package savings. Voyager is the gold standard of minivans and is highest in customer satisfaction for American models. And there's more clearance values, but you've got to hurry before the Chrysler Plymouth clearance ends.
See your Northeast Wisconsin Chrysler Plymouth dealers.
It seems that everyone is on the move these days. And no matter where you're moving or how you're moving, no other bank moves with you as well as Valley Bank. Because only Valley offers you the convenience of full-service banking at over 109 locations around the state. And that's a convenience you can use, no matter why you're moving.
Strong, helpful, friendly, that's the Valley Bank.
Come on and take your hat off, Mr. Tall, Blonde, and Smooth. Come on and slide on down. It's time to make your move. Mr. Golden Boy, you turn my head around. Pouring on the chalk, come on and slide on down. Slide down over here. Bartender, buy that man a Miller beer.
New Kid on the Block. All this week on Action 2 News at 10.
Back in New York with scores and highlights, we'll start with Atlanta at Chicago earlier today. Chris Miller of the Atlanta Falcons intercepted 4 times by the Bears today, twice by Lemuel Stinson. Nice one-handed grab there, and Lemuel Stinson winning the battle of the big talkers this afternoon. Meanwhile, Jim Harbaugh having a fine day offensively.
Catches Wendell Davis in the bottom of your screen there, one-on-one. Beats his man, and a fine job by Harbaugh laying it out for him.
Harbaugh also ran for 6 yards here in the 4th quarter, but when he's hit by Scott Case and Andre Bruce, re-injured his sternum, had to leave the game with 195 yards throwing. The Bears, a winner over the Atlanta Falcons. Tampa Bay at New Orleans, and Craig Hayward led the ground attack with 155 yards and 2 touchdowns as the Saints built an early lead and then stuck it to Vinny Testaverde, who didn't start but came on in relief, and watch him picked off here by Benny Thompson.
Well, you got to wonder what's happened to Vinny's confidence. Being benched didn't help him any. Today, 2 interceptions, a fumble, 3 turnovers by himself.
New Orleans, a 35-7 winner over the Bucs. Minnesota at Detroit. Andre Ware got the start for the Lions and threw 2 interceptions.
Well, one of the things that we were told by the Lions is in the run and shoot, one of the reasons Ware had not played early was the fact that he is not very accurate running the run and shoot.
Ware was just 5 of 11 for 47 yards and yanked after the first half. Meanwhile, Herschel Walker helped the Vikings ground game with 45 yards rushing, and the Vikings haven't lost at Pontiac since 1985. They beat the Lions today 17-7. The Phoenix Cardinals in Buffalo, and what kind of a day in Buffalo was it? Well, that'll tell you. Jim Kelly, 4 touchdown passes, 165 yards today.
Just a great job by the receivers of the Bills and Kelly. Kelly with big hand palms the ball in cold, freezing weather, controls it, gets it in for 4 touchdown passes.
Buffalo 8-1 on the year. The Miami Dolphins over the New York Jets today. Watch this play in the 3rd quarter. Ken O'Brien's pass intercepted by Tim McKyer, but McKyer will fumble along the sidelines. The ball stays in bounds, and Johnny Hector of the Jets recovers. Now, after the play was reviewed by replay officials, line judge said he had blown the play dead. Meanwhile, Mark Logan from a yard out ices it for Miami. Miami over the Jets 17-3. Seattle at Kansas City. What a day for Derek Thomas of the Chiefs. NFL record 7th sack of the day. He leads the NFL with 15 of them. But the one that Derek Thomas would like came as time expired, and Dave Craig trying to rally the Seahawks.
Out of all the unlikely heroes, it is Paul Scansey. He used to play with the Steelers. An excellent mid-route runner, gets in the end zone, finds the open area, outleaps everyone for the winning touchdown, the extra point, 17-16.
Indianapolis at New England. Jeff George from 26 yards out to Billy Brooks.
This is it. That's what he needed. This kid's got a great arm, got a ways to go. Really doesn't have the offense around him. No running game. Eric Dickerson today, nothing.
13-10 Colts in the NFL today continues here on CBS in just a moment.
Hey, did you stop using your medicated shampoo?
Not with my dandruff.
But your hair feels so nice. I didn't think your shampoo could do that.
Really?
Used to be, treating persistent dandruff could leave you with medicated hair. Introducing new intensive treatment. It helps protect your hair while it gives you the most effective medicine available without a prescription.
Honey, let's not talk about my dandruff problem, okay?
What problem?
New Head & Shoulders intensive treatment. Tough on dandruff without medicated hair.
Samsonite's Adventure Series luggage is perfect for those active vacations. It's sporty, easy to carry, and like every Samsonite, quite durable. The Adventure Series, for all you can pack into a vacation.
It's just the dull, throbbing pain.
Today, for aches and pains, it isn't aspirin or Tylenol, it's Advil.
And as soon as I started taking Advil, I haven't been let down yet, and that's 5 years.
Advil, advanced medicine for pain.
Dean Witter believed in listening.
Listen, not only to what our clients say, but what they mean. Each client has a level of comfort. Endeavor to find it. We measure success one investor at a time.
A new health instructor is getting physical.
Wayne's all hormones.
But his workout is a real killer.
No pain, no gain.
Oh, dear.
Murder, She Wrote. Then, if you've ever thought of having an affair,
I'm scared, Jimmy.
think again. Michael Douglas, Glenn Close, Ann Archer. Fatal Attraction. Tonight.
Panic.
They're horrible.
Fears.
I don't want to be here.
Phobias. And the fight to reclaim crippled lives. High anxiety and hope. 48 Hours, Wednesday.
CBS sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by today's Chevrolet, who invite you to see why more people are winning with the heartbeat of America. Gallo Sauvignon Blanc. It will change the way you think about Gallo. And by Delta Airlines. We love to fly, and it shows.
Set to start the third quarter here in Los Angeles, where the Raiders and Packers are dead even at 16 apiece. And welcome back to the Coliseum, everybody. Brad Nessler and Dan Jiggetts. Dan, the Packers gave up a long return. Holland on the kickoff return. They gave up a long penalty that led to a Marcus Allen touchdown run, one of his too, but the Packers never got rattled, did they?
They just stayed in there, and I think they did things offensively that they had to do to keep themselves in the ball game. That is, maintain their poise and continue to do the things that they wanted to do coming in and not pay attention to the score. And look at the results. Green Bay offensively is way ahead of the Raiders. The Raiders really got most of their yards in that last drive.
86 of that total for the Raiders on one drive, and you see the time of possession, how lopsided that has been. But again, the Raiders have scored so quickly, the time of possession has not mattered.
And the sacks have been way up today for the Raiders. They're putting a lot of pressure on Don Majkowski, and by the same token, Green Bay's gotten into Schrader a couple of times, but really it's more pressure than it really is a sack situation.
With that pressure that Art Shell's defense had put on Majkowski, though, you saw that Lindy Infante started to change some things up. He said, we've got to go to that quick rhythm passing game, the quick slants, those types of things to try to counteract that pressure.
And some play action. You're running the ball successfully. Use your play action off of those same types of runs. Charlie Davis over there in back of Lindy Infante with the other headset, and Charlie's the offensive line coach for the Packers, and I'm sure he's had a nice long talk with his guys at halftime, especially those outside tackles, and said, hey, look, just settle down in there. We're going to try to mix things up for you, take some of the heat off the corners, and maybe allow you to get aggressive in the second half.
And Chris Jackie is the guy that kept the Packers close with his 3 field goals, including a 51-yarder, and he is going to tee it up and kick it away to start the third quarter.
I call him the captain, Tim Harris, after his boating accident this past offseason. He got a kick out of that one, I think, as well. At least I hope he did.
He got his boat in the only spot in the bay there at Green Bay where it wasn't 2 feet deep. Heck of a time getting him out of there. Ron Brown at the 1. And look out if he gets outside, and a good tackle because there was nobody home on the far side. Burnell Dent got down there and got a hand on Ron Brown to bring him down.
Jay Schrader's number is an 89 as compared to 90, and you see the improvement in terms of the completion percentage. And look at the interceptions. That's the real key. The Raiders are not turning the ball over, and if you don't turn the ball over, you win in this league as a general rule.
We asked Schrader what the biggest difference was between, let's say, his Redskin career or last year and this season. He says it's mental maturity. I really know what it takes. I know I'm not the whole guy, and I don't have to do it myself.
Yeah, he's not the guy that has to win the game. Right. He's a complementary to the offense.
Play fake. Schrader with all day to throw again. Deep middle, and it's intercepted. Johnny Holland, the linebacker. And he's still on his feet and works his way inside the 15, and Holland to the 10. What a run by the linebacker. So much for the mental maturity, because Schrader knows he threw a bad ball there.
It seems like it never fails when you mention turnovers and a lack of turnovers by a quarterback. Right away they come back and throw one. Now, he's got plenty of time to step up in the pocket and deliver the ball, but he really throws this into double coverage, and it looks like he underthrows it by about 5 or 6 yards. He's trying to go to Mervyn Fernandez. Fernandez tried to break back in there, but Noble and Holland were both in position to make the interception. Holland makes a nice little run here, too, and watch the way he finishes it off. He gets about an extra 5 yards on the finish.
I didn't think he was going to finish until he got to the end zone, when he finally kept high-stepping it down to the 9-yard line, 1st and goal. Second man through and back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it for Woodside, as Townsend was there, number 93. So this is the kind of shock that the Packers defense went through with the Raiders in the first quarter when they scored so quickly. And now let's see if the Raiders defense can shut down Green Bay down at the 10.
Johnny Holland, maybe one of the faster linebackers in the National Football League, out of Texas A&M. One of those Aggies.
Led the Packers in tackles last week in the 4-point loss to the world champion 49ers, and a big play today. Second down and goal. Draw play. Haddix to the 5.
You know, many people probably aren't familiar with the Pack this year and how well they're playing, but when you look at that San Francisco game last week, you know, it's true what Lindy Infante said, a play here and a play there, and we're winners. It's just that close.
Last year they won all the close games, 4 of them in the final minutes, and were 10-6, and Lindy Infante was called a genius, and that man was called Magic. And Lindy Infante says, they don't call me that when they're 3-5 anymore. But he's a heck of a coach, and this quarterback who held out is starting to get back in the groove he had a year ago. Here's what Green Bay does inside the 20. They've got 3rd and goal here. 4 wideouts from the shotgun for the Magic Man. Sterling Sharp, he overshot it. Double coverage on Sharp. Harry McDaniel and Lionel Washington, and Sterling Sharp said somebody got a hand on my back, but no call, and it's 4th down.
Well, he's going to get some respect from the secondary of the Raiders, and right there, he explodes off the line of scrimmage. That's one of the things he does so well, is just getting off the line of scrimmage. He's trying to call for the pass interference there, but he wasn't going to get that one.
No, Lionel Washington just got a hand on the jersey, no big thing. And Jackie,
not Christmas.
It's not Christmas. You're not going to get a gift like that. Jackie's been perfect today. This one from 22 yards out. And he's got it. So Green Bay capitalizes on Johnny Holland's interception return. They get only 3, and they lead by 3.
Every day that goes by, one of the highest mileage, lowest priced, and the best-selling of all V6 coupes is Chevy Beretta. Day by day, more people are winning with.
The heartbeat of America.
And now it's easy to win with a heartbeat.
Okay, we're ready to go. Someone better open the wine. I think they're serving the one we brought.
Diane and I ran across this just recently.
I think you're going to like it. It's going to take credit for this.
Oh, what a beautiful wine.
Oh, this is great. What's it called? White Grenache.
You know about this?
Honey, they brought a bottle.
Ernest and Julio Gallo invite you to try White Grenache. It will change the way you think about Gallo.
Even when all of Company B heads for the phone, it's no problem for Gail Godfrey.
Delta Airlines, Gail Godfrey.
Y'all fly to Lubbock, Texas?
Yes, that is confirmed.
I got some friends who want to talk to you now. Just hold on a second. Thank you. Cincinnati, Ohio. New York City. Monroe, Louisiana.
Albuquerque, New Mexico.
San Jose, California. Portland, Oregon. Phoenix, Montana.
You're all set. Thank you for calling, Delta.
Bye-bye.
Hi, Gail. Did you get many calls this afternoon? 1.
Delta, we love to fly, and it shows.
Sometimes you feel like a cop. Sometimes you don't.
Everybody here eat dirt and die.
Kick them off the force and they just carry broken badges. Premiering Saturday, November 24th.
12:57 to go, 3rd quarter here at the Coliseum, where the Packers have regained the lead thanks to another field goal by Chris Jackie, his 4th of the day.
Johnny Holland's getting a little stitch work done there on the side. Knit 1, purl 2. You know, they usually carry an extra set of jerseys in the trunk. Maybe
he might be on a second one already. Who knows? Jackie just blasted this kickoff. Ron Brown is going to bring it out from about 7 or 8 yards deep. And he might pay the price for doing so. Flags are down, and Brown goes down at the 13-yard line.
That was a bad decision on Ron Brown's part. I know he's got a lot of speed. It was way too deep in the end zone, though, for that play. And add that to the flag, and they might really be in tough shape.
It is holding on the Raiders.
Watch Brown now. He's at least 5-6 yards deep in the end zone. You really do have to be magic and have a blazing speed to bring it out of there and expect to make anything out of it. The problem was his blocking broke down in front because they did not believe he was going to come out.
So with the illegal block, Jay Schrader will have to gear up his offense with the Raiders at their own 6. Raiders' last throw, an interception into double coverage. And this time, Bo Jackson, the tailback in the eye, will be set in the Raider end zone. Bo off the left side, maybe back to the line of scrimmage. That's it. Robert Brown, the right defensive end, made the stop.
Brad, let's go back to that interception that set up the field goal. Watch here, the inside linebackers, Holland and Noble. They're going to drop back in their zones. Fernandez is coming across from the side, and the ball is simply underthrown. And I said earlier that either one of the linebackers had an opportunity to make the interception. Now, watch Noble right in the middle of your screen. He sets up. Holland steals it from him and picks it off and takes it down.
Willie Galt and Irvin Fernandez, the wideouts. Dual backs behind Schrader on 2nd and 10 in his own end zone. Zips it out to Bo Jackson. And Bo's got the first down. Jackson out to the 20-yard line. Let's get an update on the Giants and the Rams. We go to New York and Greg Gumbel. Greg?
Well, Brad, the Rams have pulled it within 3, but from the 19-yard line, rookie Rodney Hampton gets his first rushing touchdown of his pro career. And with the point after, the Giants have gotten themselves a 10-point lead. It's 17-7, under 8 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. Brad?
All right, Greg. Good-looking run by the rookie out of Georgia.
Well, we had to go 3,000 miles to go back 30 miles south of here.
First down for the Raiders after Bo Jackson's catch. Bo lost the handle, got it back. And he's buried right at the line of scrimmage. Mark Murphy came up from the secondary.
Brad, the interesting thing here is in the second half we've seen no Marcus Allen. After him scoring 2 touchdowns in the first half, it's been pretty much Bo. Bo just luckily got the handle. Luckily for him, he got the handle on this one late. But he looks like he's out there maybe in right field. And he's real fortunate because Mark Murphy came up and almost took it from him or took his head off. But there's Marcus Allen on the sideline.
Marcus with 2 touchdowns in the first quarter. We haven't seen him really since, other than in some passing sets. Split out as a wide receiver. Raider on 2nd and 10. Gets some pressure. Sidearms it out to Ethan Horton. A pickup of a couple. That's all. It'll be 3rd down, about 8. Johnny Holland, the linebacker, there again.
Whenever you watch this Raider offense, you always have the feeling that they're about to do something big, something that, that changes the course of the game because they have so many tools in their specialists. And you always have the feeling that they're going to go downfield on you. Somebody's going to break a long one.
Al Davis tells before the game, even if we don't go deep, we want to give the impression we can at any time.
And the impression comes in 4.4 speed.
It does. 3rd down for Schrader. In and out of the hands of Horton. Mark Lee put a shot on Ethan Horton, who was trying to make his 4th catch of the day. I don't believe it would have been a first down had he caught it anyway.
But that will go on Mark Lee's highlight film. That's a stick. That's when you go back over to the sideline and you check your fingers, you count your fingers, and make sure everything is still there.
If you've got gloves on, you got to take them off to make sure. Gossett to punt. Jeff Query, with all that speed for the Packers, is back deep, 4th in the league. His punt return average. Not the greatest of punts to the far side, but it takes a great Raider bounce all the way to the 25-yard line. A 52-yard kick with a roll.
The bigger-than-ever 4-door Chevy S10 Blazer. Now America's best-loved sport utility vehicle gives you 4 doors and standard 4-wheel anti-lock brakes. The bigger-than-ever, better-than-ever 1991 4-door S10 Blazer. Open one up and see why more people are winning with.
Heartbeat of America. Chevrolet.
Now it's easy to win with a heartbeat.
After millions and millions of hours in the air, after 17 years of staying up all night, every night, so that your packages can be delivered overnight to any address in America, Federal Express has become the first service company ever to win the Malcolm Baldrige National Quality Award. It's the highest honor in American business. And just how did we do this? By being absolutely, positively the best in the business.
To protect the lives of firefighters, DuPont developed a remarkable fire-resistant fiber for their clothing called Nomex. But perhaps even more remarkable is how it protects those who never even wear it. At DuPont, we make the things that make a difference.
It's the honeymoon of a lifetime. Audrey Meadows and Art Carney present 2 episodes not seen for 38 years.
All right.
The Honeymooners Anniversary Special, Monday at 10.
Green Bay with the ball back at a 3-point lead with 9:57 to go third quarter. Chris Jackie, who has 4 field goals on the day. And Don Mikowski has 1 touchdown pass, and that's the last 5 possessions for the Packers.
And I think the key there is the Packers really had some situations where they could have taken advantage and gone in and gotten to 7 points, but they had to settle for field goals. We saw the field position they had was excellent, and that may come back to haunt them later on.
Mikowski to throw on first down. Deep sideline, it's intercepted. Lionel Washington picks it off. A skirmish after the play, but the play was made downfield by number 48.
The key for Lionel Washington was good tight coverage, and watch him come out of the break. He's come out of his back pedal and explode to the football. Now he's got his back turned right now. Watch him plant here and just accelerate to the football. Of course, it was thrown right to him as well, and that kind of helps you make the interception.
You know, that was much the same play that Sterling Sharp got a good gainer on Washington earlier in the game because he got a little bit turned around. That time he hung in with it, got the pick, and it's first down Raiders at the Green Bay 39. Bo Jackson split out as a receiver out there to the top of your screen, and Marcus Allen now is below in setback. Marcus Allen. Flags down, a nice run, a pickup of close to 8, but let's see if we have a holding penalty.
Yeah, on the sweep, that's no doubt what it is.
Wilkerson, the tackle, might be the guilty party on the left side. And when he gets caught holding, you can tell.
You see him over there, I didn't hold anybody, huh? Not me.
Holding during the run, number 88 on the offense, still first down.
They're going to call it on Ethan Horton, 88.
Right. Don't blame it on those offensive linemen all the time.
Scores yesterday, college football. How about that Texas game with Houston?
They really surprised Houston. Houston couldn't get the run and shoot on track, and TCU loses big to Texas Tech. We'll have Texas and TCU down there in Fort Worth. And Notre Dame big over Tennessee. That was a great football game. Tennessee goes in to meet Ole Miss, and the game will be played in Memphis.
That's our doubleheader next week. College football right here on CBS. Schrader wants to throw a screen, I think, and it never developed. Bo Jackson saying he was held, that he couldn't get out there to try to get the ball.
Well, I tell you one thing, they didn't hold Tim Harris that time because as fast as Jay Schrader was retreating, Tim Harris was coming about twice as fast.
Tim Harris with pressure on the quarterback.
You know, he was discussing with us how he was disappointed in terms of his ability to rush the pass. He felt that this year they're making him drop back more than he has in years past, and he's a little disappointed in that situation. Lindy Infante says, hey, we're rushing him just as much as we did before, but we have some defenses, and within that concept, he's got to drop back sometimes.
Second down for Schrader. Deep drop. Here comes the pressure again. Sean Patterson, his second of the day. The Raiders are going the wrong way after the interception, that's for sure.
They're running some games up there on that defensive line for the Packers. Now watch up inside. Don Mosbar sets up with Max Montoya. Now there's a loop coming around the other side, and he beats the tackle, and that's Bruce Wilkerson, 68 on the game.
Sacks starting to even off. And Green Bay has pushed the Raiders way back in their own territory to the 44-yard line, where it's 3rd down and 27. Marcus Allen, single set back, 3 wideouts for Schrader. And what a grab by Hernandez. Irvin Fernandez, what a catch he made. He got 2 chances at it, touched it once, pulled it in, and then picked up good yardage.
It was so nice he caught it twice. Irvin Fernandez on the comeback at about 18 yards. And watch him work back, and now watch the ball hop in once right there. Now he catches it the second time, and then he's able to run with it after he makes the reception.
Just great concentration by Fernandez in his 4th year out of San Jose State, a former star in the Canadian Football League. And last year over 1,000 yards receiving for the Raiders. Jeff Gossett to punt. He's got a good arm. He was drafted in Major League Baseball. I don't know if they fake a punt here in this situation. They've got 4th down at about 7. He's going to kick it. And just tries to knock it inside the 20 on the far side and did a nice job of it. Down to the 9-yard line. 28-yard kick and out of bounds right about where he wanted it with 7:18 to go, 3rd quarter.
Nothing beats number 1. Nothing beats the king of beers. Nothing beats clean, crisp, and cold. This is the best, and we got it right here. Yeah. Nothing beats a bud, yeah, nothing beats a bud, yeah, nothing beats a Budweiser. Nothing beats a bud.
Shop Radio Shack, America's technology store for all your Christmas gifts. Personal computers for every home and office need.
For the widest selection, nobody compares.
Camcorders, VCRs, and high-performance sound.
For outstanding value, nobody compares.
Telephones, answering machines, radios, tape recorders, and everything in electronic gifts.
For quality products,
Nothing beats a bud, yeah, nothing beats a bud, yeah, nothing beats a Budweiser. Nothing beats a bud.
Shop Radio Shack, America's technology store for all your Christmas gifts. Personal computers for every home and office need.
For the widest selection, nobody compares.
Camcorders, VCRs, and high-performance sound.
For outstanding value, nobody compares.
Telephones, answering machines, radios, tape recorders, and everything in electronic gifts.
For quality products, nobody compares.
Plus toys and games for kids of all ages.
Nobody compares.
For all your Christmas gifts, shop Radio Shack, America's technology store.
The Chevy Corsica has better aerodynamics than a Porsche 928 and a gas-charged independent front suspension, which helps you hold the road. Corsica also has a new user-friendly interior, which helps you hold the most important things. It's a very comforting way more people are winning with.
The heartbeat of America. That's today's Chevrolet.
And now it's easy to win with an efficient new Chevy Corsica.
A doubleheader. First, the resurgent Longhorns battle TCU. Yeehaw! Then a clash of SEC powers. Tennessee collides with Ole Miss next Saturday.
Brad Nessler and Dan Jiggets at the Coliseum in Los Angeles with 7:18 to go in the 3rd quarter. And it is 19-16. Green Bay with the lead. And they find themselves in a bit of a predicament here, working from their own 9-yard line. Fans trying to get into it for the Raider defense. Haddix, maybe 2 yards if he's lucky. Tom Benson, the outside linebacker, made the hit. Haddix has been basically the ground game for the Packers. 60 yards on 15 carries today.
Now's a situation, this is a critical time in the game where either the Raiders make a statement or Green Bay makes a statement by driving it down and burning up the clock. But right now is a critical time for somebody to stand up and be counted and take the game away from the other team.
As Art Shell looks on, hoping his defense can hold Green Bay. 2nd down and 8. Harris, the tight end, in motion. Mikowski buys himself some time and completes it to the 24-yard line. And that is Harris, the man who went in motion. Found himself a little soft spot over there and a pickup of 14.
We always talk to offensive coaches about, you know, the run pass mix, and Green Bay's Lindy Infante said that he wants a 60-40 mix. And one of the things he want out of that 40% of the passing game is have your quarterback be able to deliver the ball downfield unmolested. And that time you saw Mikowski had an opportunity to get outside and get it downfield to Harris.
Addix has done just enough today as the rusher, number 35, to help the play action of Mikowski. Addix in there, single setback again. First down, Green Bay. Mikowski has it tipped. Townsend got a big hand in the way. He's in his 8th year out of TCU. We talked about TCU and Texas, one of our games next week.
You know, that was a nice segue, by the way, Brad. What happened up inside is, now on the other side, you got Tony Manders working against Howie Long. He does a nice job settling down in there very nicely. Now, on the other side, Alan Weingrad is working against Townsend. And Weingrad was in excellent position, but Townsend got off and jumped up to slap the ball down. Now, what you want to be is close enough where you can stick him in the stomach and make him drop those arms.
Second down and 10, Green Bay at its own 25. The Green Bay sweep with Darrell Thompson. He took a big shot at the 30-yard line, and it will bring up third down and 5. Eddie Anderson. He is the guy in the secondary that will take your head off if you give him a chance. Big hit on the rookie Darrell Thompson.
Brad, something interesting happened on that play. The guard and the tackle over here on this side. Now watch this situation here. They're going to do a little combination block over in that side. Now watch them slip off the man so they can try to pick up Ricky Ellison, the linebacker, number 50. That's just a beautiful thing when it happens right up front. You cut down those linebackers, and then that gets you back outside, and he's able to run at least 5 or 6 yards before he gets tackled.
Mikowski will work from the gun on third down and 5 with 4 wide receivers. Kemp and Query in there, along with Sterling Sharp and Weathers, and Mikowski with a bad snap, flags all over, and Mikowski goes down again. Tom Benson and Jerry Robinson, the 2 outside linebackers, both came storming in there from the outside. Might have a holding call on top of everything else.
Illegal use of the hands, number 63 on the offense. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
5th sack of the day. Camp in the center with the illegal use of the hands call.
Well, there's the first half of the statement by the Raiders.
Todd Bracken to punt. Mikowski will have plenty more chances before the day's over. Tim Brown back in punt return formation. High spiral. Brown will take it to 38 and goes down right there. And it's Charles Wilson, the rookie wide receiver on the special teams, who made the hit. 4:50 to go, third quarter. Green Bay by a field goal.
Just a reminder, proper maintenance with AC Delco parts can significantly reduce premature wrinkles. AC Delco, it's like buying time.
The Denorex side really feels like it's doing a lot more than the Head & Shoulders side. It feels real cool and tingly over here.
Both have a dandruff ingredient, but Denorex adds an extra anti-itch medicine you can feel working.
The tingle told me that Denorex was doing more for my hair.
The battery you want is the one that will keep running. And no regular battery can run longer than a Duracell. You can't top the Copper Top.
Which 4x4 half-ton pickup gives you better ground clearance, Chevy or Ford? Both try to drive over this protected camera cage. First, the Chevy. Plenty of clearance. But the Ford, cameras don't lie. No wonder more truck owners switched to Chevy last year than to any other truck. When it comes to ground clearance, more people are winning with Heartbeat of America.
Now it's easy to win with the Heartbeat.
4:50 to go third quarter. Green Bay leading 19-16 over the Raiders, who, if the playoffs started today, would be in the playoffs. They haven't been there since '85.
They've had some tough, lean years, and when we talked to Al Davis before the game, he said that I asked him, you know, a lot of people saying the reason why the team fell on hard times is because we were concentrating on the moves and all the rest of that. He said, no, you know, it's just a lack of players and bad coaching situations that caused the demise of the Raiders through the mid to late 80s.
They certainly seem to be back on the right track now under Art Shell. Trailing by 3, handoff to Mr. Raider, Marcus Allen, who played with Art Shell in his rookie season. So he says he knows the man, and he says the man knows us. He was there 15 years, and he's in the Hall of Fame. He says he knows all about players. And I don't think you'll ever run into a team that speaks in more glowing terms of their head coach than this group.
And they said, you know, and Art says about the players, he says, you know, as having been a player, I know which buttons to push to get different guys to do what we need them to do. And I think there's a good understanding, a good working relationship on this team.
Second down, a long 8 for the Raiders. Here's the pitch to Marcus Allen. Flag down. I think we're going to have a holding call, maybe, on Steve Smith, the fullback, who was trying to lead the way. That's the general direction.
He's going at it with Brian Noble on the sideline, and Steve Smith had a hold of a couple of guys down there. Get a 2-for-1 thing going.
Special out here today. There's a call. Go against the Raiders. Steve Smith, 4th year out of Penn State, fullback, who is one of the less heralded offensive members of this team.
Holding during the run, number 35 on the offense, still second down.
You know, that commercial says never let them see you sweat. Well, never admit to the penalty either.
The Bears keep rolling along in the Central Division, and the Packers trying to move into the picture as far as the playoffs, because as Lindy Infante said, and we mentioned earlier, somebody that had only 3 wins coming into today will be in the playoffs when they start, and the Packers are hoping it's them. Schrader on 2nd and long. Wants a bunch. Tipped. Willie Gault was open, and what a play by Brian Noble, the linebacker.
You know, frankly, I'm a little surprised that the Raiders haven't gone downfield a little bit more. And Chuck Cecil told us that with this offense the Raiders have, the free safety has to play a lot of that middle. Now you see Brian Noble here, number 91, getting out in his zone, just jumping up there, getting elevated and tipping the ball out. He'll watch this tape and go, I didn't know I could jump that high.
I don't think there's any doubt that would have been a first down. Gault was just standing there waiting for it on the Green Bay side of the 50, which would have been good enough for the first down. As it is, 3rd down and 18. Schrader is going deep now. Gault's out there, and it's almost intercepted. Leroy Butler, the rookie out of Florida State.
Brad, when we watched Jay Schrader the other day at practice, he stands flat-footed and throws the ball 70 yards. This situation, he's got Willie Gault running wide open down the field, and he underthrows him. I know he can throw the football further than that. The question is, why does he underthrow him when he's breaking away on the thing? And watch, Gault has to slow up here and try to work himself back to the ball. And really, if the ball's out there another 2 or 3 yards, he's gone.
It's almost the exact play that Jerry Holmes had the interference call in the first quarter. Was a big gainer for the Raiders. That time, Jay didn't get it out there quite far enough again. And so Gossett will kick and query back for the Packers. Gossett just got this one away. Well, this time it takes a Packer bounce, and Green Bay is going to be in great shape at their own 42-yard line. Only a 27-yard punt. 3:27 to go third quarter. Green Bay with a 3-point lead and the football. And next week, another doubleheader for you right here on CBS. Detroit and the Giants get things going, and many of you will see these games. Chicago and Denver, a big one at 4 o'clock. Check your local listings for the game and time in your area.
Chicago's just dominating the Central Division right now.
The last word before the kickoff. Greg and Terry and the gang get it underway at the NFL today. Next week, doubleheader action right here on CBS Sports.
California.
That guy's drawing better than I draw on my telestrator, I can tell you that much.
Maybe you can get a few pointers after the game, huh? Green Bay first down with a 19-16 lead. Leaps up in the middle there to get a couple. Ricky Ellison met him in the middle of the pile.
Brad, earlier we were talking about statements, and you know, the Raiders had a nice little defensive stand, and then they got the ball back. Well, now the situation is kind of reversed. Green Bay made a nice defensive stand, and what are they going to do here in this situation offensively? See those eyes of Ricky Ellison, a linebacker, number 50 for the Raiders. A little scary, isn't it?
Yeah. All the great years with the 49ers and now a Raider.
Golick told us, Bob Golick told us he's trying to get him committed last week out on the field.
As you saw, the Packers have mixed it up beautifully. They've evened up the run and the pass today. They appear to be in a passing situation here, but that's not the case. It's Haddix on the sweep, and he's got the first down. Tough run by Michael Haddix, who's having a big day. Tackle made by Terry McDaniel over on the corner.
We have been keeping an eye on Tony Mandrich. Now watch him. He'll be on the left side of your screen, number 77, this time on the pull. And what does the big guy do downfield? He gets one of those little defensive backs down there. Come on, roll him up, Tony. Well, he did enough to get his man out of the way. What he wants to stand up there and run over that guy, though. Tony's very capable of running over someone.
Mandrich at about 298. He can get in the way, that's for sure. First down at the Raider 47. Draw play this time, and that one stopped. Loss on the play. Greg Townsend has had a remarkable afternoon from his defensive end spot.
He's had a remarkable career, Brad. He's really come a long, long way from a personal standpoint as well as a playing standpoint. He's gone through a lot of problems and off-the-field types of problems, and he's a kid from Compton, California. And he told me last year, he said, you know, he got involved in some drugs and things like that and got himself squared away finally. He said, I really felt disappointed because I let a lot of people down, a lot of people that look up to me. Well, now he's having a Pro Bowl type year. He's really gotten himself squared away, and he's making $1 million a year. That's the good news for him.
Second down and 12. Mikowski running out of time, and down he goes again. Townsend is there again along with Golick. Townsend held out for a new contract, got that $1 million. He says, now I'm in the same neighborhood. I can go over to Howie Long's and borrow a cup of sugar.
Yeah, it's a nice neighborhood to be in. Now watch him working against Tony Mandrich outside. Tony looks like he's in pretty good shape here, but he gets that shoulder turn, and Greg Townsend gets underneath your shoulder, and he'll work himself right to the quarterback, lifting you up as he goes to the quarterback.
Also has the longest current string of straight games for the Raiders. This is his 51st in a row.
You know, it was interesting talking to Bob Golick. He had a beeper on, and you asked him why he had the beeper on. You want to finish the story?
In a minute. Third down conversions for Green Bay. Third down and a big 19 conversion-wise here. Mikowski for Kemp, and he's got it. First down, Green Bay, down to the 28-yard line of the Raiders. That's what Mikowski can do so well. A pickup of 28 on third and a mile, and they got the mile.
Huge play there by Magic, and he's really the guy that's responsible for it because he knows he's in a little trouble right now. He's just going to step up, get away from the rush, dance around in there a little bit, and do what it takes to get it downfield. And he throws that one off of one leg, hopping up in the air on the rope. Kemp makes a nice reception over in the sideline.
Kemp fumbled a reception last week in the late stages of what looked like a possible come-from-behind win over the world champion 49ers. Packers had a drive going, and he coughed one up. He just got a big grab there and held on to it. First down, Packers. What a hit that is. Darrell Thompson gets it leveled, and it was Alex Gordon, who the Raiders just acquired recently, who made the big stop, and that's going to be the final stop of quarter number 3.
Gordon was the #1 choice of the Jets, and I can't believe they let him go like that.
End of the third quarter with a score: Green Bay 19, the Raiders 16. Our coverage will continue after this message from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
This is CBS.
Oh, it's so awfully cold.
I prefer hot. I really was thinking hot.
Cold.
Very hot.
Crazy cold.
The hot performers at your Toyota dealer will warm up the coldest spirit. So head to your Toyota dealer now.
You?
Yeah, me.
Russ, you have no eye for color.
I'm picking out the paint. I know what I'm doing. I have no idea what I'm doing.
You can do it, Russ. This True Test custom color system makes it easy to match colors, just like a decorator.
Admit it, Ellen. I picked out the perfect colors.
Yes, but who would ever believe it?
You can do it with True Value hardware stores.
Nights like these are always...
Excuse me. Didn't you used to play a cowboy?
Yes, I played a
Thank
cowboy.
you.
Hollywood typecasting.
Alas, poor Yorick.
It happens in business, too. Wausau Insurance has been typecast as specialists in workers' compensation.
Isn't he a cowboy?
But Wausau's talents are just as impressive in property, casualty, and employee benefit plans.
Perfect.
Yeah! In all types of business insurance, Wausau performs.
The news team that's making a difference at 10.
With Dan Jiggets, I'm Brad Nessler, back at the Coliseum in Los Angeles, where the hometown Raiders trailing the Green Bay Packers heading into the fourth quarter by a field goal. And Green Bay's worked it to the Raider 28-yard line, 2nd down 11.
Thank you.
Mikowski's done just enough today to keep his Packers in front. Harold Thompson, single setback, play fake to Thompson. Mikowski throws for Kemp. Touchdown. And he does just enough to get them further in front. 28-yard scoring toss. Mikowski to Kemp.
You know, it's always a question when you start believing, when you start buying back into things and believing that you can be successful. Don Mikowski, I think, now believes he can be successful. On the run, down to the corner of the end zone to Perry Kemp. 1-2, got both feet in. The coverage by Terry McDaniel. He's beat on the play for the touch.
That's a perfect throw. Kemp's first touchdown of the year. The extra point by Jackie up and good. And now Green Bay has a 10-point lead.
Always a question as to whether or not the receiver gets both feet in. Watch Perry Kemp on this one. He knows he's got to get both of them in. He makes the reception. 1, 2, both of them in the end zone, and then he gets pushed out.
Perry Kemp, who today has moved past Donnie Anderson into the number 20 spot in the Packer receiving charts career-wise. And so many people were brought in by the Packers as draft choices, Plan B free agents, all to try to beat out number 81 and try to get a little more speed on the other side from Sterling Sharp. And this kid just keeps fighting him off, and he's still in there, and he gets a big touchdown catch.
About not giving up on yourself and staying after it, even when others may doubt you. Perry Kemp is a pretty good example of that.
There's the battery. Mikowski to 81, Kemp.
You think back, you mentioned last week, Brad, where he dropped that ball at the end of the game, and there were a couple of players that came over, tapped him on the head, said, hey, I know what you're going through, that kind of thing. But he just stuck with it and came back this week and has had a pretty good ball game so far.
So is Mikowski, his second scoring toss. And now Art Shell's Raiders find themselves 10 down. Scoring drive, 7 plays, 58 yards for Green Bay. Jackie to kick, Holland and Ron Brown, the deep duo for the Raiders. It'll be Ron Brown at the 3. And again, he got across the 20 and not much more, as the Packers were there to meet him with the special teams. Today, Haddix has had a tremendous day for Green Bay, too. Better than the Raiders all put together, huh?
69 yards on the day, and the Raiders only have 46. And keep in mind, we talked about earlier, Lindy and Fonte said that in order to be successful, they thought that they had to rush the ball for 100 yards at least and average over 4.1 yards per carry.
The kick is offside, number 50. That penalty is declined. First down.
The Raiders turn down the penalty and take it at the 25-yard line. There's Haddix with the 69 yards on the ground. So now Jay Schrader finds himself 10 down, and he's got all that speed and the likes of Willie Galt and Bo Jackson and Mervin Fernandez. And let's see what the Raiders can do. Bo Jackson. Tim Harris runs him down from behind. Pickup of maybe 3 for Bo.
Talked to Tim Harris before the game, and he was out on the field with his sunglasses on. He says, this is hot. I love it. I said, yeah, let me see if you're going to be saying that in the fourth quarter. It was about 90 degrees down on the field, but he's had a pretty good football game so far.
Actually, the cloud cover has helped the cause. We're down around 80, 78 degrees is about what the... There's your 78 over in the Coliseum thermometer. Second down and 8. Orlando's in motion. Schrader over the middle. And Mervin's going to get a first down out of it.
Got Cecil over there in that sideline, playing the deep middle and going to the ball. The fourth quarter belongs to the Los Angeles Raiders so far this season. At least they've dominated at 59 points in the fourth quarter as opposed to the opponent's 33.
Tell you what, you're not going to find many teams that outscore their opponents in every quarter, as the Raiders have done too. Art Shell, his 10-0 mark here at the Coliseum since he took over as head coach last year, in jeopardy right here in the fourth quarter, trailing by 10. Jackson got it to the 39-yard line. Pickup of a couple, maybe 3.
You know what's interesting, Brad, is Chuck Cecil really hasn't been in on as much action for the Packers defense as you would expect him to normally be. And he said the reason why is he's playing so much deep middle against this team because they respect the outside speed of the wide receivers. And normally on a play like that, he's right up there in the mix. But he had to stay out now. In this game, he said, you just turn your back and get ready to run.
That's what he said. I'm going to line up in a track stance with my back to the line of scrimmage to chase these wide receivers. It's the only way I can stay with them. Blitz coming on Schrader. Flags down. Wide open in the middle is Galt. Inside the Packer 40 to the 39, but again a flag down. And the Raiders say it's against Green Bay, and it is. 23-yard pickup is good for Willie Galt.
Onside, 96 on the defense. That penalty is declined. First down.
Sean Patterson, who's got a couple of sacks today.
Let's check in with the big guys up front, the people that sweat for a living. That offensive line gives Jay Schrader a lot of time to find Willie Galt downfield, and that's a dangerous combination if that goes on too long.
You're still sweating for a living, and we keep doing these games on the West Coast.
I'll take it, believe me.
First down for the Raiders at the Green Bay 39. Schrader got it out quickly to Jackson. Flags are down again as Bo gets almost 10. I think somebody in the backfield came out of their stance. Steve Smith may have fallen forward out of his three-point stance.
Yeah, he's got that definite dejected look. Watch the movement in the backfield. We believe that's where he came. There's that little move.
Number 35 on the offense. Still first down.
Actually, he didn't come out of his three-point stance. He fell into one. Make it 26-16, rather, Green Bay. 12:22 and the clock running, fourth quarter. Up by 10, and they're hoping to move up in the Central Division, where Tampa Bay has lost today. Minnesota, a winner. Green Bay can move into tie for second place if they can win today. Actually, they'll be a half game ahead of Tampa Bay because Tampa's got 6 losses. Marcus Allen cuts back to the 41. He got 2, make it 3. It'll be second down and 7. Brian Noble and Tim Harris combine on the tackle.
You know, Brian Noble is so solid inside for that Packer defense. He's one of those guys that you just love to have on your defense when you're thinking about running up inside. You look at a guy like 91. You think you want to run in there against that guy? No, because it's hard to block him, number one, and get him out, get him off of his feet.
He had that big play earlier where he went airborne to knock the pass down intended for Willie Galt.
That may be the highest he's ever jumped in his life.
Second down at 12. Jay Schrader will have to throw on the run again. And the pressure came from Matt Brock.
Matt Brock, he's originally from San Diego. Here's a guy that plays defensive end, and he told us he was a surfer when he was growing up. Well, that time he caught the wave and got in on Jay Schrader.
We said, how did you ever stay up on a surfboard? You weigh, 283 pounds. He said, I get one of those big 10-foot Hobies, man. He says, otherwise I'm up to my neck in water.
He's got his family here today visiting and watching the ball game. Nice young man.
Former Oregon Duck didn't have to change team colors when he joined the Packers.
The quack attack to the pack attack.
Third down at 12. Raiders have to have this one. They'll send a trio of receivers out to the top of your screen. Jay wants to load up and go deep. Now trying to find a receiver and almost had it intercepted. Jerry Holmes had it carry him off his shoulder pads intended for Tim Brown. And the first chorus of boos today.
Yeah, it's 4th and 12 and the fans want them to go for it. Tim Harris got bounced around quite a bit on that last play, but was able to get over to the sideline after about 3 guys blocked him and still get some pressure on Jay Schrader.
Jeff Gossett in for the punt. Jeff Query back at the 10 for Green Bay. He dropped one at the 9-yard line the last time it was in this circumstance, and this time he goes for the far side. Let's see if he gets the corner. Oh boy. Made it in the end zone by about the length of the football. Just that close to be burying the Packers. Instead, they'll have it at the 20.
Well, they call and they want me to drop AT&T. Yellow? And why in the world would I want to do that? Yeah. So I just say, just can't you put it in writing? And it's kind of like saying, gee, I'd like to go out tonight, but I got to stay home and wash the dog. The AT&T people are always there for me. I mean, the price is right, and it's a great deal. Well, I mean, come on. Life is too short to worry about this stuff, right? And with AT&T, I don't have to.
No matter what they say, it doesn't add up to AT&T.
You have a nice day, too. I'm just not impressed. And they're not AT&T.
We're here on Easter Island to introduce the monumental new Isuzu Stylus. How does it compare to the Toyota Camry? Let's see what the gods think.
The Stylus, with its Lotus Tune suspension, handles better and is just as roomy. Yet the Toyota costs hundreds more. The gods aren't too crazy about that.
The new Isuzu Stylus. At just $11,299, there's no comparison.
And winds northwest 30 knots, gusting 45 knots. Rain expected to continue till 10 p.m. 5 inches predicted in the 7-county area.
About 1,500 more bags. 1,500 more. Yeah, we got to short up the left side. The left side of the bag.
This game summary is sponsored by Levi's 505, 506, and 540 Gs.
Green Bay's controlled things. Time of possession almost 10 minutes more than the Raiders. And Chris Jackie just kept them close, Dan, with those field goals, and then Mikowski took over.
Yeah, and he's had a lot of success mixing things up, and I think that's really been the secret. They've been able to go to the multiple sets and put the ball in different people's hands.
Now they're going to load it up with the extra tight ends. Thompson, a single setback. Sterling Sharp, the only wide receiver, up there to the top of your screen.
Actually an unbalanced situation now.
They're loaded up to the right side. Here they come to the right side. And a loss on the play. Golick in on the stop on Darrell Thompson.
Bob Golick on the stop. We were talking about Golick before with the beeper, Brad, and what he does is he has a beeper on his side. His wife makes him carry it because she's expecting around December 10th, and she doesn't want him to go out on Monday nights to watch the ball games or hang out on Thursdays with the guys. He felt that was the only way he could escape and get out there and have some fun with the fellas.
Oh, boy.
She can always reach him.
He says it's just like being a hand grenade catcher playing in here in the middle. He is a piece of work. He made the last tackle and loss on the play for Thompson. 2nd down, 11, Green Bay. Mikowski delivers it complete. Short gain out to the 24-yard line. Ed West, his tight end, made the catch. No, make it Sterling Sharp. Sterling Sharp with a grab.
All right, let's check back in with Mr. Golick down there in the middle in the pit. Howie Long gets a nice push up in there, and he's going right along with Golick. And you see how nasty it gets up there. A lot of big bodies falling around in there, getting sweaty, and you can smell the other guy, and depending on whether or not he used any kind of deodorant.
I think we got the picture.
That's not a nice environment up in there.
Third down at 5. Green Bay can ill afford to sit on this thing either. 10 points is not much with all the speed the Raiders have. They need this third down conversion from the shotgun with 4 wideouts for the Magic Man. Quick slant, Query's got it. First down, Green Bay. So the Packers will keep their drive alive at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. Green Bay trying to win their 4th game. And the Raiders, who have won 10 in a row under Art Shell in this facility, and they're in danger of losing that. You can see 9 minutes to go in Green Bay with a 10-point lead as the Raiders scored 13 in the first quarter, and they have only a field goal since.
Art Shell talked about expecting to win when you come into a football game and then doing the things necessary to get it done. I'm sure he's had a conversation, too, with his people on the sideline.
Raiders could use a turnover, that's for sure. You see him down 10 points in Green Bay, a first down. Darrell Thompson to sweep the left side. Not much there. Got to the 34. Golick and Davis slide over from their defensive tackle positions to make the hit.
You know, Darrell Thompson is an interesting acquisition for the Packers because brings a lot of different things. He's a big guy, you know, for a running back, and real solid individual. We had an opportunity to talk with him yesterday, and you know, you just kind of had the feeling you're talking to a player who didn't just come into the league. He knows what he wants to do. He has a firm idea about where he's going, and is a young man with both his feet on the ground, which in this day and age is fairly unusual.
Of course, a stellar career for the Minnesota Gophers, and now he plays for the Minnesota Vikings' worst enemy. And he had his best game of the year against Minnesota a couple of weeks ago. Here he comes again. Flags down. This time Thompson gets some decent yardage to the 40, but a flag at the line. Mike Harden in on the stop.
We're talking to Tiger Green about him, and he said he runs a lot like Eric Dickerson, that real high knee action. Certainly he did at that time coming through.
Offside against the Raiders, and the Packers may decline this because I think Thompson got about 6 yards on that carry.
Watch that high knee action that we talked about. His offensive line is getting some nice movement up front. Credit Ed West there, 86. Tony Mandrich gets a pancake block up front. And that springs Thompson into the secondary of the Raiders. Now, this is the kind of drive you want to go on if you're Green Bay.
Number 70 on the defense. Still second down.
So they take the penalty on the offside against Scott Davis because they wanted to get basically about the same amount of yardage and preserve the extra down. So they do accept the penalty.
This is the kind of drive you want to go on if you're Green Bay, using up the clock now, and you know, burst of 4 or 5 yards and taking it the distance and then putting another touchdown on the board and sealing the game if you can.
We've worked our way under 7.5 minutes to play in the ball game. Green Bay second down at 4. Darrell Thompson again broke one tackle but not the second one. Nice open field stop by Lionel Washington. And somebody's down.
Looks like Lionel Washington is still down on the field. Brad, one of the things we talked about with the Packers was the fact that they have not been turning the ball over when they win, and that's really been a secret for them to play winning football.
And they're up by 10 with 7:08 to go.
On Wall Street, fortunes are won and lost and won again before 10:30. Amid the halls of ivy, the best ideas often come and go before 10:30. And on the back lots of Hollywood, love often blooms and fades before 10:30. Which is why Federal Express delivers before 10:30 at more places around the country than anyone else. Federal Express, absolutely, positively the best in the business.
Who needs dorm life that's way too formal? Who needs soda pop that tastes too normal? Who cares about good taste? I know it tastes good. While the best thing's always so misunderstood. Just give me what the doctor ordered. Just what the doctor ordered. Hey, give me a Dr. Pepper. We want it. Hey, whoa, that's a stepper. Dr. Ooh, the taste of sweet powder. We love it.
To introduce Isuzu's new Rodeo, we've placed it and Toyota's 4Runner in this campground to see which is better for family fun.
Sure, the Rodeo has more horsepower and rear anti-locking brakes, but another key difference is that only the Rodeo seats 6.
So, combined with its price, thousands less than 4Runner, we see that only in a Rodeo, no one gets stung.
The new Isuzu Rodeo at just $12,499. There's no comparison.
CBS sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Isuzu. For feature, styling, and price, there's no comparison. Federal Express for documents, packages, and freight worldwide. Absolutely, positively the best in the business. And by Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper is just what the doctor ordered.
The Olympic flame not burning, and the Raiders flames only about 7 minutes away from going out too, unless they can get it back from the Green Bay Packers, who lead 26-16 here in the fourth quarter. Mikowski wide open to the 45-yard line is Clarence Weathers. And it's still, and it's going to be a first down. So Green Bay keeps their drive going, and the clock is their ally. Under 6.5 minutes to go, and Mikowski and the Green Bay Packers up by 10. Mikowski, we know his dad Fred is watching back in the Buffalo area. His dad, who had a stroke back in the summer when all the contract negotiations were going on, and they are so close, and his dad's getting better. And Fred, we're glad to hear that things are going well for you. Nice to have you watching us today.
Johnson, very special to him, very special.
Woodside is the second man through. He got a couple. And now, Dan, the Raiders almost have to make something happen in the way of a turnover, because time is running out for the Raiders to get it back for Schrader in the offense.
And the Raiders have had their opportunities, and there have been situations where they just haven't taken advantage of it. I think sometimes when you get some quick, easy scores at the beginning of a game, it sets you back a little bit because you think everything's going to go easy that day. And that happened for the Raiders early on, and they just didn't come back and fight and get back in the ball game when they had the opportunities.
Maybe the scores they got were too easy.
Yeah.
They got a little complacent.
And certainly the Packers have had to work for theirs, and they know what it's like to roll up their sleeves.
Haddix and Thompson, the dual set as you look from behind Mikowski. Out to about the 48-yard line goes Thompson. Remember, Kansas City lost in the final play of the game against Seattle today. That gave the Raiders a little bit of a cushion, but that cushion will be the same as it was when the day started. If they lose this game, they would drop to 6-3 and still have the one-game lead.
And when you're coming down the backside of the season, now is when you really want to establish yourself as a winning ball club going down the stretch.
Just under 5 minutes to play. Green Bay by 10.
Working to be the best they can be. Teammates, sponsored by the U.S. Army. 49er defensive backs Ronnie Lott and Eric Wright have been teammates since the rookie season of 1981. During the first 9 years of their careers, they have combined for an amazing 77 interceptions while playing on all 4 49er Super Bowl teams. Individually, each can make an opponent's best receiver disappear. Together as teammates, they make the Niners the best they can be.
Getting through college can be a pretty tough climb. To succeed, you need money, and you need the right abilities. You can find them both in the Army. If you qualify, you could earn more than $25,000 with the Montgomery GI Bill and the Army College Fund. And you could develop the confidence, judgment, and self-discipline it takes to make it to the top, in college and beyond.
We've placed these two similar 4x4s in this swamp to see if there's any real difference. Sure, they both have lots of luggage space, plenty of room for 5. I don't think the Gators haven't noticed. But only the Isuzu Trooper has auto-locking hubs, so you don't have to get out to get into 4-wheel drive. So, combined with its very low price, we see that only the Trooper won't cost you an arm and a leg.
The Isuzu Trooper at just $13,699. There's no comparison.
The Packers in the driver's seat with 4:59 to play, up by 10. This time a year ago, they were 4-4. They beat San Francisco, went on to win 5 straight, and went 10-6 on the year. If they can win again on the West Coast today, maybe they can make some hay while the sun's shining here against the schedule.
And they could have a nice run at Phoenix and Tampa Bay, Minnesota, Seattle, and Philly. Those are games that they can win. They can be very competitive in those games, and Lindy Infante may be proven to be a prophet by saying that they could get into the playoffs.
This is a gigantic third down, and Mikowski broke free, and he's got the first down. Quarterback draw, whether by design or not, a blitz was coming, and Mikowski somehow got 8.
Well, he got some decent protection, but he just couldn't find anything downfield, and he decided to take it into his own hands. But that's it. Those are the kinds of plays that Don Mikowski made last year. He's finally starting to roll back into form and making them this year. Watch him squeeze out. It looks like he's trapped, and he just explodes out of there, and it makes the nice run. And Sterling Sharp probably couldn't be happier. Yeah, all right,
That's what I like, is my quarterback running for the first down. Mikowski came in leading the Packers in rushing and just helped convert their 8th third down situation out of 14. There's his numbers coming in. Big quarterback draw to first down, and now the Packers can go back and just try to grind it out. Loss on the play as Ricky Ellison levels Michael Haddix. But again, clock winds down to 4:02, and the Raiders have just taken their first time out. Green Bay by 10.
In response to continued demand, we proudly bring you the Nikon Teletouch 300, a totally automatic dual-lens camera that significantly reduces red eye.
Raiders have only one timeout left and trail by 10 with 4:02 to play. Tonight on CBS, if war breaks out in the Middle East, the Pentagon has a $12 billion baby that can shoot down any attacking helicopter. Sounds good, doesn't it? But it doesn't work. $12 billion and it doesn't work. That shocking story tonight on 60 Minutes, followed by Murder, She Wrote, and the CBS Sunday night movie Fatal Attraction tonight on CBS. Mikowski with a hook slide at the 45.
Well, that time the Raider defense had a fatal attraction for Don Mikowski.
Glenn Close and Michael Douglas weren't even on the field, were they? So now the Raiders with a 42nd timeout here, and that's it for their timeouts.
Bloopers happen in football, and they can happen to your hair when using a woman's hairspray. Consort is made especially for men. Consort keeps your hair looking full because its extra fine mist won't weigh hair down. Do it right with Consort.
Some people think it's a great idea for you to buy a second-rate antifreeze. Not all antifreeze is the same. Nothing beats Presto. And that's something you might appreciate down the road.
Well, the Raiders trailing by 10 with 3:55 to go. Brad Nessler and Dan Jiggets with you at the Coliseum, and the Raiders out of timeouts, Dan.
And it was apparent that Green Bay came out to Hollywood and didn't read the script. They weren't supposed to upset the Raiders in their home office. They're doing it.
Third down at 12. Should this be an incomplete pass, that would stop the clock and help the Raiders' cause. Mikowski. Down he goes. Davis on the bottom of the pile, and Eddie Anderson came storming in on a safety blitz. And so now the Packers have to kick. Clock stopped with 3:49 to go. The Raiders will be out of timeouts, but they will get the ball back. Chicago 8 wins now after the win over Atlanta. New Orleans rolls big on Tampa Bay, and Minnesota has won their first NFC Central game with that victory.
Buffalo over Phoenix.
Boy, Buffalo's tough, huh? Jim Kelly had 4 touchdown passes today.
Miami continues to roll over the Jets in New York.
And so now Don Bracken will punt. And Tim Brown back inside his own 15-yard line. And here's a delay of game as the Packers took all the time they could. Worked it down to 3:27 to go in the game. NFL doubleheader for you next week on CBS Sports. Detroit and the Giants will do battle in game 1. And many of you will see Chicago and Denver in the second game. There's the rest of the action. Dan and I will be in Phoenix for the same Packers. And then 2 guys who were great players. They're great friends, and they have the same thing in common, coming back from some heart problems. That'll be One of our features on the NFL Today, the road to recovery.
You know, both of those guys are pretty tough guys. I played for Mike Ditka, and I can tell you that he really came back very strongly from it, and surprisingly so quickly. But the one thing about Mike is when he decides to put his mind to something and come back, he certainly makes it all the way.
Now following the delay of game penalty, Bracken will kick it away to Tim Brown. Brown lets it go, and out of bounds it goes at the 12-yard line. So the Raiders are 88 yards away, trailing by 10. No timeouts left in 3:19 to play in a football game. This game presented by authority of the National Football League, and the CBS telecast is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of CBS, the Los Angeles Raiders, and the National Football League is prohibited. Art Shell has not tasted defeat here at the Coliseum since he became head coach of the Raiders. And they're going to have to turn something around in the next 3:19, or you can throw that stat away. Schrader with a 3 wide out offense. Marcus Allen is single setback. Schrader in trouble. Got away from one. Doesn't get away from the second at the 5-yard line, and it's Tim Harris, his first sack of the day.
You know, the interesting thing there, Brad, is where was the in the grass call? You know, it really looked like Schrader was wrapped up pretty good that time by Sean Patterson. But he got the opportunity to get out of there, and there wasn't the early whistle on the play.
4th sack for Green Bay. I think there's been a little more leniency in the last few weeks on that in the grass thing. But in his own end zone is Schrader. And down he goes again. Sack number 5. Tim Harris, number 2. And he's got the guns blazing now.
He said he wanted to come out here and shoot his guns, you know, get a couple of sacks, shoot the guns, have a little fun.
19.5 sacks last year. Had only 4 coming in. As you can see now, has added a couple to the total.
Says he lives for the sack. You know, that's just that's the driving force in his life.
3rd down at 17. Raiders running out of chances. Jay Schrader, it is intercepted. Jerry Holmes, a one-hand catch, and he brings it back the other way. Holmes, he's inside the 10. 26-yard return for Jerry Holmes, and that's about going to do it for the Raiders.
Jerry Holmes makes a nice pickup. Look at the elevation, sticks it with one hand and gets up and realized that he hadn't been touched and got up and made a nice run after the interception. Now, the funniest thing is to watch defensive guys try to throw blocks. They have no clue how to throw blocks. Tim Harris came close to getting a clipping penalty there.
Wilkerson, the man that finally knocked him out, but Holmes has his 3rd interception of the season. Jay Schrader's had kind of a tough day, and now Green Bay with a 1st and goal, a 10-point lead. The Raiders out of timeouts and only 2:22 to go. Jerry's going to take that one home.
Yeah, that one's going to take a plane ride.
Haddix and Woodshine behind Mikowski. Maybe 2 yards for Michael. And that is going to be our final play before the 2-minute warning. Bob Golick in on the tackle. It will be a happy plane ride back to Wisconsin for the Green Bay Packers, who have Phoenix next week.
They're disappointed, though, Brad. They wanted to stay out here, stay out west, stay in the sunshine. And Lindy and Ponte said, no way, I'm taking you back.
26-16, Green Bay in control.
We're here on Easter Island to introduce the monumental new Isuzu Stylus. How does it compare to the Toyota Camry? Let's see what the gods think. The Stylus, with its Lotus Tune suspension, handles better and is just as roomy. Yet the Toyota cost hundreds more. The gods aren't too crazy about that. The new Isuzu Stylus at just $11,299. There's no comparison.
No one can guarantee you a perfect world. A world where the unexpected never intrudes. But some of us know we'll be taken care of quickly and compassionately. In an imperfect world,
You're in good hands with Allstate, a member of the Sears Financial Network.
In today's higher revving and hotter running engines, wear is a greater problem than ever before. Oil breakdown can shorten the life of vital engine parts. That's why there's Castrol. Castrol provides maximum protection against viscosity and thermal breakdown. So use Castrol, because driving today can be a grind. Castrol, engineered for today's smaller cars.
Hey, Bob, baby, Rissa, how you doing? We got him! Yes!
Mom and his little girl. His wife and his little girl, who he's saying hi to. Tim Harris, 2 sacks today. And the head-to-head competition, the Raiders have controlled that in regular season play.
Of course, that's going to change after today's game. Packers won the Super Bowl back in '68. But finally, they get back on that win column.
Lindy said they had to get the ball to Sterling Sharp. They had to rush for 100 yards, and they'd be all right. They've got 100 yards rushing. They've got a 10-point lead, do the Packers. Harold Thompson might have gotten a yard. Packers really don't care. They just don't want to cough up the football now. They want that clock to go.
You know, the only stat that Lindy Infante might be disappointed with, Brad, is he said it was important to look at the yards per rush. And right now the Packers are averaging right around 3 yards per rush, and he wanted it at 4.1, but I'm sure he won't give that up to accept the victory.
Coming in, the Raiders were 11th in the league against the rush and not allowing too many teams 100 yards, so Packers have gone over that, but not by much.
Better work. Got you in the last second. That was cheap. Better work. That was cheap.
Let's talk on that sideline about cheap shots.
I ain't happy about it because you said it wasn't
cheap
right
sacks. That's what they're giving Tim Harris grief about.
I ain't happy about it.
If the playoffs started right now, here is how things would look. The Giants, 49ers, and Bears. A couple of unbeatens.
And keep in mind, Chicago would have to play that wild card, the second wild card game, because they, among those division winners, would have the worst record at 7-1, 8-1 now.
8-1, yeah.
And then the wild card teams would look like that. Washington, Philly, and Green Bay's right in there.
Green Bay will go to 4-5, so they'll be in the mix if that man can continue to play as he did today. Nice steady outing for the Magic Man, Don Majkowski. A couple of touchdown passes, a key quarterback draw in a third down situation when Green Bay had to have it.
And Green Bay's offensive line did a nice job today, I think, against a very strong Raider defensive front. They did it when they had to. Guys answered the call.
That's Mandarich and Euchre and Campen and Ard and Weingrad and all the rest. And there they are in the pit, lined up on 3rd and goal. High backfield. And it's an option with Harris the tail, and Majkowski keeps it. Eddie Anderson's all over Majkowski. That was a good-looking play. Didn't get him much.
They took away a few of the options.
So now 4th down. And I think Lindy Infante would be more than happy if that 52 seconds could go by without any kind of field goal attempt or another snap. And in the AFC, here's how things look.
Miami, the Raiders, and Cincinnati. Cincinnati has the worst record of those, so they would fall down and have to play one of those wild card teams, just like the Bears would in the NFC. And Buffalo at 8-1, Kansas City, and Pittsburgh.
So even though
wild card possibilities,
even though they're about to lose today, the Raiders would still get a bye in round 1 of the playoffs. So Art Shell will go to 10-1 at the Coliseum as head coach of the Raiders. But this is a pretty good team, and this was not their day, that's for sure. It was Green Bay's, but I think they'll be right in the thick of things, don't you?
And the thing that we mentioned at the top of the game was the fact that the Raiders felt uncomfortable playing the Packers because they're not familiar with them. They don't know what they do well, and the Packers came in and showed them what they did well, and that is control the clock, and with multiple sets and getting the ball in a lot of people's hands and running it on the ground when they had to.
On the other side of things, the Raiders couldn't muster a ground game. Their rushing attack today was kind of like Los Angeles traffic, backed up and stopped. They didn't get much. 53 is all they got on the day, while they came in averaging 113.
Willie Pete over on the sideline talking to Ed West and son Rodney Pete, quarterback at Detroit.
Chris Jackie's had a perfect day on 4 kicks. 21-yard field goal is good. He's perfect on 5 kicks. He's the guy that kept them right there, and that's a new team record for the Packers. And when you consider they've had some pretty good kickers, including one named Stenerud, that's a nice thing to put in the trophy case for Jackie.
Fred, I have to tell you, when you mentioned at the top of the game that he had a cold, you know, it's hard for me to work up a lot of sympathy for a kicker with a cold, especially when he's playing in 80-degree weather.
I don't think he'll worry about it today, will he? That ball's going to the trophy case back in Green Bay as well. So 29-16. Lindy Infante's troops congratulating his offensive line, and they really did well, really, after about that first quarter.
And I think Tony Mandrich really has come a long way. I've been watching him over the years, and I think that the last year or two, and I think he's really come a great deal further than most people give him credit for.
I think Lindy just got dumped on, or he's about to.
Yeah, they're sneaking up on him.
Look out, Coach. Whoop, there it goes. They did the same thing last year at Candlestick, and Green Bay won 5 in a row and went 10-6. They'll be 4-5 now. And Lindy Infante thinks this team is capable of putting together a string of 4 or 5 wins. Maybe they will be right back in the hunt at the end of the year. It was a warm day. It just cooled off for Coach Infante, didn't it? Ron Brown and Jamie Holland deep. Holland brings it out of the end zone. Flags are down as he got out near the 20-yard line before Scott Stephen ran him out. Just 11 seconds to go in the ball game. It's a holding call against the Raiders. It's been the kind of day they've had.
Well, for the Raiders, I think they go back, they regroup. They certainly have that kind of esprit de corps, and that's necessary to maintain what they've been able to get so far this season. And I think that they're doing things the right way, and they feel very good about the way they're going about the season. So this is a little setback, but not much of one for the Raiders. They'll just continue on.
Yep, I agree. At the 10-yard line. Don Mikowski, who played a few times in a rock band, played with the rock band Poison when they were in Wisconsin earlier this year. I don't know if he'll play his guitar about this win or not, make up a song about it, but it's a big one for Green Bay. Jay Schrader, now we're going to see some of that arm. He just lays it out. It'll be a jump ball, and it will be intercepted by Green Bay as time runs out. 29-16, the Green Bay Packers pull the upset at the Coliseum.
Wouldn't it be great if you were at a party and suddenly you could read people's